The following is a special presentation of TNN Motorsports. Beautiful Carolina blue skies over the rock. We're at North Carolina Motor Speedway in Rockingham, North Carolina, for the next to last race of the 1996 Busch Grand National season. If you missed this event a year ago, you missed a great race. Last fall, it was a nail-biter here at the Rock.
Simpson's got one chance now, Mike. He's going down into turn 3. He's got one chance, and that's to get on the bottom side.
They're going to be three
no,
wide.
he's going up top. He's got the room. Wallace thought he was coming for the bottom. They are 3 wide. Down to the line. Contact. And Bodine wins it. Is that a race or is that a race? All right.
Todd Bodine squeezed by for the victory. Johnny Benson Jr. was crowned series champion. Today's race could have championship impact once again. Tons of attention being paid to today's AC-Delco 200. If you think the Winston Cup points battle is very tight, well, this one is too. In fact, the lead changed just a couple of weeks ago. Randy LaJoie is the new point leader. This one will have a lot of impact on the title. 2 weeks ago at Charlotte, the Busch Grand National points battle turned in Randy LaJoie's favor. This wreck took David Green out of contention for victory at Charlotte, while LaJoie's 6th place finish gave him a 50-point edge in the title hunt.
It was race number 4 of the 1996 Busch Grand National season. That's when David Green took sole possession of the points race. Of course, he lost it 2 weeks ago in a horrific crash at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. David, you're sitting here 3rd on the grid. Good qualifying effort. Good to see you're okay, but what are you going to do to chomp at that 50-point lead that now Randy LaJoie has over you?
Well, Randy, about the same thing we've done all year long. Go out there and be consistent, qualify good, and stay up front. And that'll take care of everything. We just need to push the old bad Lady Luck away from him. We'll be okay. But the Caterpillar car is pretty good, and we're in for a good day, I feel like.
Okay, good luck this afternoon. Randy LaJoie will start 13th on the grid here this afternoon. We'll keep our eye on the points battle all afternoon. Now, a guy that's excited, young, and looking for a good race here this afternoon is on the pole. He's standing by with my colleague on pit road today, Glenn Jarrett. That's Buckshot Jones. Glenn?
Well, thanks a lot, Randy. And it's been a year of firsts for Buckshot Jones. He got his first Busch Grand National win, and as you said, his first Busch Grand National pole here today. And it's his first race in a brand new Pontiac. What a way to start this thing off.
Yeah, it is. You know, we're really happy with the Pontiacs. We tested down here last Wednesday, and they run a lot better than what we thought they would. We had a little problems, you know, yesterday on the setup on running on old tires. We made a few changes for the race, so I think we're going to finish pretty good today.
Well, I think he'd probably be a man to watch because Ricky Pearson, as you remember, is his crew chief. He has very good success here at Rockingham on the outside of the front row. Dale Jarrett. Now let's go back to Rick.
Well, Buckshot Jones is a young driver who has already won this year in the Busch Grand National Series, but there are a whole lot of competitors today who really need a win as this season winds down. We're joined today by 3-time Winston Cup champion Darrell Waltrip. Darrell, guys like Mike McLaughlin, Tim Feto, they haven't been to victory lane yet.
You know what? Did you have to ask me this question? I mean, no respect at all. Yeah, guys that haven't won, I know them all.
I didn't want to say that, but
Jeff Green comes to mind, and Chad Little comes to mind. Those two are guys that are accustomed to winning or have won, and there are a lot of others in the field that would, I know, like to win for some credibility for next year. So, yeah, there's a lot of guys out there that won races, but a whole field full of them that haven't. 200 miles today on this Rockingham surface that was new not very long ago, but Buddy Baker, it's changed quite a bit.
I was over talking to the crew chiefs, and they said, hey, it's back to being the old Rockingham where you have to run extremely soft suspension, a lot of downforce in the corners here. All in all, what we're talking about, this racetrack has turned itself right back into the rock and the hard place.
It will be all of that and more. 200 miles coming up, the AC-Delco 200 live on TNN. We'll be back to put this field under green in just a moment at Rockingham.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by Hamelin Formula 3 motor oil, controls volatility and fights vaporization. And by the more than 1,450 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
They're rolling up onto the Speedway here at North Carolina Motor Speedway in Rockingham, and here's how they'll line up for the AC-Delco 200. Buckshot Jones on the pole. Dale Jarrett, who ought to be tough today outside row 1. Second row, David Green, who led the point chase for so long this year, and Kevin LePage in that 88 car. Third row, we'll have Mark Martin, who has been so strong. 5 wins on the season in Busch competition, and Mike McLaughlin from New York, still looking for his first. Ricky Craven in the show today. He'll start 7th alongside Tim Feedle. Fifth row looks like this. Terry Labonte will saddle up the 5 car on the inside, and Chad Little in his Pontiac outside row 5. Jeff Fuller won at Bristol earlier this year, and Jeff Green in the Earnhardt Motorsports 3 outside row 6. 7th row, we'll have point leader Randy LaJoie in the Base Motorsports Chevrolet, and Jason Keller in the Slim Jim car. Greg Biffle starts Jim Bound's car from the 8th row today, and Glenn Allen Jr. in the Luxair Chevrolet. Row 9 includes Jeremy Mayfield and Patty Moise. The 10th row, Curtis Markham and Elliott Sadler in the WCW car. The 11th row, Greg Sachs taking the ride today on the Laughlin 45, and Ed Spencer III in car number 20. Ron Barfield for Bill Elliott today in the 94, and Dave Marcus back for his second start in Ken Schrader's AC-Delco car. He'll be in row 12. 13th row, Dick Trickle. Now he'll have to go to the rear for missing the driver's meeting. Young Mike Dillon in the 72. Row 14 includes Larry Pearson and Mark Green making another start in that 37 car. The 15th row, Jeff Purvis, who's won twice this year, and Mike Wallace, who came so close here 1 year ago. 16th row, Phil Parsons and Dennis Setzer in the Mark III Financial car, the 77. 17th row, Shane Hall back after that wreck at Charlotte, and Randy Porter in the UniFirst Uniforms car. Rodney Combs for Richard Petty in the 43. The 18th row with Todd Bodine, who's in the points chase in the top 5, but he has to go from 36th spot today. 19th row, Derek Cope makes a start today with Darrell Lanigan, the dirt track star from Kentucky. And the 20th row has Hermie Sadler in the DeWalt Tools number 1, and Joe Bessie from up Main Way in car number 92. Final row, taking provisionals to get in, Elton Sawyer in the Aikens Ford, the 38. Anytime champion Tommy Houston in the Suburban Propane Ford, car number 6. So that's your field. 42 cars ready to take the green here in just a couple of moments. We've got some in-car views to show you as well, but first, our AutoZone race analysis brought to you by the more than 1,450 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts, posted awards of nearly $280,000. We'll go 197 laps here today, the race record set by Chad Little in February last year. And this is the 27th time the Busch Grand National cars have lined up at Rockingham. Phil Parsons will have one of our cameras on board today in the Channel Lock Chevrolet. He goes from back in 31st. And he'll give us a variety of pictures out of that car. A couple of weeks ago at Dover, he was very, very strong. And we'll watch as Phil Parsons gives us a look here today as well. We've got 3 more to show you. Jason Keller lines up 14th, trying to get his season back in gear in that Slim Jim Chevrolet. We're going to have a couple of other good cameras to show you today. Keller certainly will give us a good look, including out the back bumper of the 57 car. And we're going to take a ride, too, with a guy who's been so strong in Busch Grand National competition this year. Mark Martin's been almost unbeatable.
Well, he's got that Ford figured out. I mean, everywhere he goes, it's right on the bottom of the racetrack, and his buddy will say, or any of these drivers will tell you, a car that'll hook to the bottom of these racetracks like Charlotte or here at Rockingham, it's going to be hard to beat.
Daryl, a couple of years ago when they first repaved the thing, any setup would work for a little while here, but now that it's getting back to the old Rockingham and getting slick, the cars that really hook up, the soft suspension, a lot of downforce into the corner, boy, that's the one that really sets the pace here.
Dick Trickle also will have one of our in-car cameras today in the Duralube car. He has to go to the back of the pack after qualifying 25th. About ready to go, looking for the green flag with 197 laps to go this afternoon. Glad you're with us on TNN Motorsports. Buckshot Jones brings him to green. And we're underway, and Buckshot gets a jump into turn 1.
Yeah, he was ready to go. He didn't want to have to go in there side by side with Dale Jarrett, and very good chance they had that made up before they even dropped the green to take off and not go in there side by side.
Jarrett is second, and Kevin LePage moves right in there in third as they head down into turn 3. First lap ready to go on the board at Rockingham, and look at Jarrett looking low on Buckshot Jones.
Well, we heard Buckshot say down there talking to Glenn that his car was not as good as he'd like for it to be, particularly on a long run. So
Dale Jarrett did lead the first lap as he come by. You can see right now Kevin LePage is putting a lot of pressure on his head down the back straightaway.
Look at David Green up to third. Now he started third, dropped back just a little bit, but Green really knows he's got to have a good afternoon here today.
Yeah, and that's exactly where you'd like to start, believe it or not, Rick. Right there in the third spot, you don't have to worry about you're on the inside of the racetrack, and it's real comfortable to start there. Got a car spinning.
One car has spun. It is Greg Biffle. Couple of cars into it. This is going to be a hard hit. Biffle gets caught up in it. Ron Barfield, Rodney Combs is involved, as is Jeff Purvis, Mike Wallace. We see Randy Porter there. The one of Hermie Sadler. There's another car, looks like Tommy Houston up in the wall coming out of 4, and we are under caution very early here today. It looked as though that started when Greg Biffle, the Pacific Northwest driver, got loose coming out of turn 4 on the first or the second lap coming around.
I was going to say that these tires, radial tires, do not like the cold weather. They like for it to be hot, and it takes a little while to get some heat in them.
That and the racetrack itself has a lot of dust. It builds up on it. This is the sand hills down here. The sand blows in all night long, even though you have traffic out there beforehand. Let's look at what happened here.
Coming through turn 4.
Yeah, he got a little bump. The 51 car got a bump from that red and white car there is.
Might be Jeremy Mayfield, perhaps.
But he got a little tap there. Boy, here they come too. Whoa, he's a sitting duck. And you believe that he got hit right at the end.
A lot of contact. They're looking at Mike Wallace right now. Safety crew on the scene. They've got the net down. Looks like Mike is got to be fine. Let's take another look here. This is Biffle driving Jim Bounds, number 51, out of turn 4. He has him locked up there heading toward pit road.
Yeah, actually what happens, everybody slows down. I'm sure spotters were hollering there's a car spinning, and chain reaction type of deal. If one guy slows down, particularly on the start of the race where they're so close together, that somebody doesn't check up, and that's what happens.
And we're going to take one more look now. Phil Parsons was caught up in this. We'll show you a real-time look as Parsons hammers into 3 and 4, and up in front of him, Bound is already loose.
Oh.
He got the back of the 4 car of Jeff Purvis there.
Jeff Purvis was a sitting duck there. He slowed up, had the car straight, had a good shot to make it through there. All of a sudden, he was collected from behind. That happened on Major Speedway. See Mike Wallace walking off there.
Looks like he's walking a little gingerly. That was a hard lick he took.
Yeah, it was. It's such a shame to have things like that happen on the start of the race.
4 laps complete. That was lap 4 when Biffle got loose out of turn 4 and touched off that melee. Mike Wallace's car heavily damaged. We're under caution. The pace car has picked up Kevin LePage as the restart leader. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Gladiator and Universal Luxury Vans, the official vans of tracks, teams, and drivers throughout the NASCAR world. Call 1-800-445-2825 for a dealer near you.
And our highway transportation is also provided by Cedar Ridge RV Center in Branchville, New Jersey. They feature Winnebago motorhomes. Give them a call at 1-800-988-4884. Find out why Cedar Ridge is the choice of champions. And commercial transportation for this telecast has been provided by Ryder, the official transportation company for Opryland. We are under caution for the first time this afternoon after a hard wreck coming out of turn 4. One of the drivers involved standing by with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Rick. I'm with Jeff Purvis. They're working on the front of his car right now. The biggest thing that I see, there's a lot of superficial sheet metal damage, but the biggest thing I see is it looks like there's about an inch of toe out in the front tires. That's a little too much here or anywhere else for that matter. Trying to cut the fenders off of it so they can get to it. I talked with Jeff about this yesterday, about having to start back in the pack. Something like this can happen in a hurry at Rockingham. Jeff, what happened?
I don't really know. They just all jammed up there, and you start getting hit from the front, the back, and just a bad deal. It's, you know, that I wasn't the only one back there, I don't guess. And I just hate it happened this late in the year for us.
Well, yeah, it's real valuable to you now to try to get back out there because you're in 5th in the points.
Oh, I think I still got a good chance at winning this thing, don't you? I tell you, it's just a bad deal. I hate it for these guys right here. It's you know, it's making them work awful hard.
Well, Jeff Purvis sits by. That's about all he can do right now. But I tell you what, he's still got a pretty good sense of humor about it.
That's nice to have, if nothing else.
Yeah, he does. That's really neat when a guy. Of course, we haven't run enough laps. He's not tired. He's not irritated. He's just upset he's out of the race, or at least behind.
Here's another look at how Greg Biffle got pushed out of shape. It looks like coming out of turn 4 there, and that touched off quite a scrim.
Yeah, the cars were running over each other all over the place, and I'm sure these guys back here, it's just a chain reaction, just like what happens out on the interstate. Everybody starts letting up, and somebody gets in the back of somebody.
Is it a case, Buddy Baker, of how important it is to qualify up front, too?
I'm going to tell you something. Anytime you qualify up front on Major Speedway, that reduces your chances of being in just such an accident early in the race about 100%. If you're up front, 90% of the time you're with the best cars and the drivers are really alert. Back in the pack, you're trying to make things happen, and all of a sudden you're collected in some kind of accident.
Purvis had started way back in 29th alongside Mike Wallace, and they were two of the cars caught up in that the most as the record does its work once again, continuing the cleanup here off of turn 4. 8 laps are on the board. We've been under caution, though, for a while after a big scramble out of 4. We'll be right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running.
We are back live at the North Carolina Motor Speedway in the Sandhills of North Carolina. Beautiful afternoon. Pictures from our Duralube aerial camera this afternoon. 9 laps are complete right now as the field continues under caution. Phil Parsons brings the 10 car onto pit road along with many others. A lot of the cars caught up in that, tried to make a couple of stops while we're still under caution.
I think so, but we just had a report that Hermie Sadler in the #1 car has called it a day. He was involved in that accident and felt they couldn't repair the car. They're still working like crazy on Phil Parsons' car, as you can see here.
Trying to get the front end in some sort of raceable shape. Glenn Jarrett on pit road for us.
Well, still standing by Jeff Purvis's crew. And, guys, it's just really kind of disheartening to see, in addition to Jeff being wrecked and out of the race. But look at the front of the car. The whole thing has already been cut away. Now, what did this? This DeWalt electric jigsaw here. Now, I can't tell you how many man-hours, how long it takes to put the front end, the nose piece on one of those cars. All those bars, the fender braces and everything, they take that jigsaw in about a minute to a minute and a half. They remove the whole front end of the car here, and now it looks like a modified, or what's left of a modified. I tell you, a lot of man-hours has gone into that. They're still working on the car. They're working on fixing an oil leak right now, but I really think they're going to get Purvis back out here pretty soon.
Hope they make it because he has a lot at stake here this afternoon in the point battle. We ride with Phil Parsons. His Channel Lock Chevrolet caught up in all that. Front of the car badly damaged. The back of the car is bent as well. They managed to piece it back together. The lights are out on the pace car. We ought to be ready for a restart here in just a moment. Looks like he's got a piece of duct tape or bracing, perhaps.
That's his hood hinge.
Loose there.
That's a hood hinge is what that is. All right, I don't know. Maybe that's part of it.
It sure is.
It's something don't belong
part of the cowl box.
It's a cowl flap. That's what it is. Yeah.
Quick, get a screwdriver on that thing.
Yeah. If it starts swinging across the windshield, we'll know what it is.
Well, with Kevin LePage leading, we're coming down to get the green flag, Rick.
We sure are. 10 laps complete of 197 this afternoon at North Carolina Motor Speedway. Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, Darrell Waltrip, Randy Pemberton, Glenn Jarrett on pit road. Pace car is in. LePage leads him to green, and we're back underway. I'm impressed with how quickly LePage got to the front.
Yeah, I am too, and I don't know how he got the lead because while we were watching that wreck going on, he come around, he took the lead, so I'm not sure how he got there.
Don't get familiar to the 88 number. He will be in a double car team next year, and his number will be 86 next year. This race car will be driven by someone else. Rick, can you add to that?
They've announced that they are going to go to 2 cars at Ridling Motorsports next year. LePage continues to lead. Dale Jarrett right behind him in second spot. As we look down into turn 1, great crowd on hand here this afternoon too with the AC-Delco 200. I'm impressed by what they've done to this speedway since the last time we were here. We're in the new press box today up here in the main straightaway. Hardly looks like Rockingham anymore. It's great to be here to bring you the coverage. Jason Keller with one of our in-car cameras today, and Keller running in 13th spot. Randy LaJoie right behind him in the Fina Chevrolet, and LaJoie with a lot at stake here today.
Are you saying this could become your pet rock, possibly?
Well, hey.
It sure does look nice, doesn't it?
It's close to home, and it's beautiful.
Done a great job.
You're riding with Jason Keller here. You see it's a black race car. For most of the people that are familiar with Busch Grand National, he always has a red car, but this is their Halloween special that they have here, and it's a black car with quite a unique design on it. Right now, he'd like to have it out front, though, I'm sure.
Randy LaJoie, meantime, is on the move. He just got by Keller. LaJoie now working on Jeff Fuller. This is a battle for 12th spot, and LaJoie moves by Dr. Randy this morning. He said, hey, we're great, and we're ready to go at it today. He's a guy who doesn't want to win this series championship by riding.
Well, he runs well on these 1-mile racetracks. We saw him win Dover. We saw him have a shot at winning this race right here last year, so he will be a factor before the day's over with.
LaJoie by Fuller now and pulling away. Next in line, directly in front of him, will be Tim Fedewa in the 40. They're going to be teammates next year at Base Motorsports, so that could be an interesting battle. Out in front, it's still LePage over Dale Jarrett by several car lengths down the backstretch. David Green, meantime, trying to work his way towards second spot.
Rick, it appears that Dale Jarrett might have a little bit of a handling problem right early in the race here. He's running second, but he actually is holding up Green, and you see Mark Martin moving in there in 4th place. Right now, they seem to be just a little bit quicker than Jarrett is.
All this allowing LePage to stretch the lead out as they come off the backstretch and up onto the back straightaway, out of turn 2 and onto the back straightaway. Let's go to pit road. Randy Pemberton.
Well, Ron Barfield is just walked from the infield care center. Ron, smile on your face. First of all, you okay? And I also saw Mike Wallace in there. Was he all right?
Yeah, both of us all right there. We, I just hate it for the New Holland team down here. We got wreck happened up ahead of us, and my spotter come on the radio and said, hey, look out ahead of you. And I got out of it, and somebody ran in the back of me and got me big time sideways and overcorrected the car, and it went up in the wall. But, then I think I collected Mike Wallace, and then all that broke out. But Main thing was just there was a wreck up ahead, and I checked up, waved my hand, and next thing I know, I was turning around backwards. So, but we'll get them next time.
Okay, thanks, Ron.
Ron Barfield out of it today, but very much in it today is Mark Martin.
Yeah, Mark, it takes him about 8 or 9 laps to really get the best out of his car. Right now, we're approaching 8 laps, and you can see right now he's moved right up in the second spot. Seems to be getting off the corner extra good there.
Yeah, that's the whole deal. Just like he did at Charlotte, he's putting that nose down under him coming off of turn 4, and he's got the horsepower to pull him down the straightaway. But I tell you, that 88 car, don't want to overlook him. He has pulled out to a pretty comfortable lead, and he's running a little bit different line, but he's running a little higher on the racetrack than these other guys are.
When I said 8 or 9 laps, I meant under the green. They were under the caution for a long way there. I know people said he lost his mind. Well, partially, but nevertheless.
LePage, a graduate of the Busch Grand National North Series, came south a couple of years ago and has impressed a lot of folks. Ran his own car last year, but has moved into this Riddling Chevrolet, and they've done a very nice job since he took over the ride a couple of weeks into this current season. Right now, LePage with about a 10-car length lead on Martin. Jarrett is third. David Green is right there. And Mike McLaughlin powers in the 5th spot as we watch that battle for third. Jarrett there in the 32, the 95 with Green, McLaughlin, and we swing back to catch a few of the cars a little deeper in the pack.
You know, people keep expecting Mike McLaughlin to win a race. I know I'm one of them. It's a great team, and Clyde McLeod and the whole program is right there. Everything there it takes to win. I just guess they haven't had the opportunity so far this year, buddy.
That's pretty much the deal. I mean, Mike McLaughlin's been in contention several times this year, but you got to have some luck too. You have to be able to go from green flag to checker without any problem. I look for him to do real well, and hopefully this team will have a better 97 they did 96.
Look at this. Darrell Lanigan, the youngster from Union, Kentucky, dirt tracking it out of turn 2, and that's very fitting because he is a Stars dirt track late model guy. That was 1 lap ago. Lanigan, we saw at Charlotte getting the wall hard up in turn 3 in that.
If you ever want to replay a wreck, it didn't happen. That was it right there. That man was in a lot of trouble right there on the radial tire that far sideways.
2 things. He doesn't have the experience to be running these big racetracks just yet, but the only way you get it is to come and run them. Sure. And if he wasn't a dirt track driver, he'd have been out of here by then, buddy, because that's about a dirt track move right there.
And we take a look now at the battle between Dale Jarrett and 32, David Green in the 95. This is for 3rd spot down the back straightaway. As far as the point race is concerned, Randy LaJoie is making tracks up into the field. He's shown 10th. Look at Green down to the low side on Jarrett out of turn 4.
Rick, he took about 4 or 5 looks on the bottom side. You see right now Jarrett put up absolutely no fight at all. He let him go by. It's early in the race, and I'm sure that Jarrett is having some kind of problem with his handling right now. And you don't hold a guy up that's that much quicker. Once they run up there 3 or 4 times, they're going to come on anyhow.
Yeah, I think Jarrett's car's a little tight, and you know what? That's the most aggressive I've seen David Green drive maybe this year. Just that one pass alone. Yeah. Getting that nose in there and passing somebody right now. Normally he would ride right there, so points are on his mind and winning is too.
He knows he's got his hands full because Randy LaJoie is coming to a couple of places that he really likes. This track and then Homestead to close the season.
Exactly.
173 laps left here this afternoon, very early in the running on TNN today. The AC-Delco 200 as we watch Terry Labonte and Ricky Craven a little further back in the pack. That's a battle for 6th position. A couple of guys who I'm sure we'll hear a lot more from. Your leader, the 88, Kevin LePage, down into turn 1, and Mark Martin is catching.
Yeah, you know, what about Mark? You know, we talk about tracks that people like and don't like. I don't think he's ever found a track in his life he don't like. At least he wins on all of them.
But, you know, you get a combination that works on a racetrack, and Mark Martin seems to have the number here. I mean, he's given, right now he's closing in on our leader, Kevin LePage, right regular here. You can see he's just about 3 car lengths off the lead right now. As he goes through the corner, his car don't look that much better than everybody else's until you see him coming up out of the corner. He can hold a lower line there.
Yeah, he can.
Leaders are on the backstretch and down into turn 3. They lap this place at about 25 seconds under race conditions in these Busch Grand National cars. So very quick here at the Rock, just a little more than a mile all the way around this D-shaped surface. LePage is your leader. Martin is second. Green, Jarrett, and McLaughlin in the top 5. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Rockingham, North Carolina. Your battle for the lead into turn 1. And Mark Martin has the low road. That's where you want to be.
Boy, if you get in that position right there, Kevin LePage absolutely couldn't put up any fight at all. He cut the line off going in that corner, and you just have to give way.
Yeah, he got high down here in 3 and 4. He's been running 3 and 4 a little higher than Mark, and Mark got the nose on him. And, of course, that's all Mark needs is an opening. And, you know, We may be hearing some false advertising, buddy, but I hear they say a couple of teams are saying the right front tires are already worn out. So that could be false advertising.
Here's Randy LaJoie, the point leader, battling for ninth now with Buckshot Jones, who was the pole sitter, and Randy takes the measure of Buckshot down into turn one. That Fina car is moving too.
Well, Buckshot called into his crew just a little while ago and is complaining that he's just a little bit tight right now. And really, this is kind of a dress rehearsal for the final play anyhow. So what they're doing right now is finding out what the car needs. And when they make the pit stops, they'll adjust. And the main thing is not to go a lap down right now.
We can expect, I guess, at least 2 pit stops today, depending on how the cautions fall.
Yeah, I think so. 80 laps on the tires is what we were thinking. But, you know, one thing, Rick, we need to talk about is a lot of these Busch competitors are complaining a little bit about the advantage the Winston Cup guys have. Not so much from how much experience they have or the better pit crews, but they were on the racetrack this morning.
Yeah.
They were out there running this morning on a track that these cars haven't been on since yesterday. And the guys say that's not fair. And you know, from that perspective, I think I agree with it.
That's something I think a lot of people hadn't thought much about until this season. This is the first time we've really heard that talked about, but it does seem to make some sense. As we take a look a little deeper in the back, Tim Fedewa there. Jeff Fuller as well, and they are fighting for 12th spot right now. Fedewa holding Fuller off. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Darrell, listen to you talk about that. I agree that is a little unfair, but what do you do about it? How do you fix it?
You don't let them practice, I guess. I don't know how you fix it.
Or I guess you have to let the Busch cars get a little practice period too, which that has always been a NASCAR policy, that they don't practice on the day of the race.
Yeah, I think that's the cure, though, right? The 30-minute practice on Saturday morning for the cars. Because, Glenn, yesterday it was 80 degrees here, or 70-odd, overcast. Today it's 50 degrees and sunny, so the track is different.
You can see Kevin LePage going from second all the way back to fourth there as David Green takes over second. Jarrett goes right on by. I think as the racetrack's going along that Dale Jarrett's car is beginning to work a little bit better. He was complaining the car being loose just a little while ago.
Let me tell you, David Green's impressing me today. He's after Mark Martin. He's got the hammer down. He's got the bit in his mouth, and he is going to race today. Now, that's what I like to see.
Moving by Joe Bessie there in the 92 to put him a lap down. Green's in second spot, and Green is not known for that kind of aggressiveness.
Oh, no. Of course, you had the points lead, so you got to drive a little bit of a different strategy. But today, there is no strategy. Flat out win the race, let the cards fall where they will.
Is that because he thinks LaJoie's capable of winning these last 2 races?
Oh, I'm sure it is, but he's got to make up 51 points some way, and the only way he can do that is win the race.
David Green back to second spot, starting third today. Told me that yesterday when they qualified, Friday when they practiced, that was the first time he'd been back in the race car since the crash at Charlotte 2 weeks ago. They had a couple of test opportunities, decided not to take them as we look a little deeper back in the field. Still at Jeff Fuller, there's Jason Keller. We take a ride with Keller back now in the 15th position. Fuller right in front of him in 14th spot, racing down the main straightaway. Great crowd on hand here for this AC-Delco 200 here on Saturday afternoon.
Buddy, following up on your comments about the racetrack itself, I think we're going to see these cars run higher and higher and higher around this racetrack. And by tomorrow, we may be running the Harry Gant groove. Who knows? Because everybody seems to be able to run a little higher through the turns today than they normally do.
Well, thank goodness it's not a one-groove racetrack around here, because when you have a wider area to race on, you can get in a little bit of trouble and recover. But when you just have a groove right around the base of the racetrack, if anything goes wrong, you're into the wall. And the racetrack has been really good for side-by-side racing for the past couple of years now, and I like to see that here at Rockingham.
Take a look a little further back. This is Ricky Craven in the 2 car. Right behind him, Mike McLaughlin. Craven is 5th. McLaughlin is 6th, and Chad Little is right there in the mix, 2 and 7th spot in that John Deere Pontiac. One of the guys you mentioned earlier, Darrell, who really needs some strong runs here at the end of the season, as does McLaughlin.
And they've gotten better. He was real good at Charlotte. He had a pretty good day out there at Charlotte, and he's up front again today. So, you know, old John Deere Green might be coming around.
Craven was so tough when we were at Dover back in September. Dropped back, ultimately didn't figure in the battle for victory, but you've got to think he's a guy who's going to come up through the back, too.
Oh, I'm sure he will. He's got a good car there, and I tell you when he'll really shine is on pit stops, because he's got an excellent pit crew.
LePage directly in front. This is a battle for 4th spot now. LePage, who led many laps in the early going, is 4th. Craven is 5th, but I think Craven's about to change all that.
You see Ricky Craven, this is what Darrell was just talking about. He fades in like he's going in low, then lets the car drift up. He's really not binding the car up. As you can see, LePage is trying to hold that tight corner, and what he's doing is really wearing the tires more.
Boy, we'd be hollering car up against the wall, or up near the wall with that Craven move in, but he's making great time up high.
Dick Trickle in the 64 car running in 20th spot. And Dave Marcus driving Kenny Schrader's machine as well. He's in 21st. Trickle started back in the back of the pack at 42nd after missing the driver's meeting, so he's really gained huge ground.
Yeah, he was over having a cup of coffee and a cigarette, and it just kind of slipped right by him. He didn't realize it.
In 35 laps, he's passed, what, 17, 18 cars, you've got to figure. Just well, more than that, actually, probably 20 cars. So he is really on it.
Yeah, well, he's got to, he's got to get back to where he was anyway.
Yeah.
For his car owner's probably on his case right now.
Elliott Sadler in the WCW car there, as well as we ride in the Duralube Chevrolet coming down the main straightaway. Meantime, your leader is Mark Martin, and he's got some lap traffic in front of him. Now, how aggressive will Mark be through this pack of cars?
What you have to do here, you see Mark looking him over really well. What you don't want to do is get yourself in a compromise. When you go down in the corner there, you have to do these passes pretty much like Darlington. You set yourself up in the corner to get a good run off the corner. If you can't make it down straightaway, at least position yourself going in the next corner to take the spot away.
Boy, I saw Mark come off the turn 4 there. Then he got real loose up high. Now, see, his car is made to run the bottom. It's got to hook that left wheel on that white line. So when he gets off of the bottom, sometimes his car's not that good.
Car's working pretty well from where you are, I'm sure, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, it is, but Mark has radioed in and told his crew chief that he's having a little bit of problem getting in. The car's just a little bit loose getting in, and then it seems to tighten up in the middle. So as we see some of the other cars try different grooves, I'm sure that Mark may have to search around, see if he can find something to help remedy that problem. Meanwhile, it has allowed Green and Jarrett to close the distance just a little bit, and we keep watching Ricky Craven, like you guys were talking about. High groove working well for him. Clyde McLeod, Mike McLaughlin's crew chief, told him quite simply, hey, follow the number 2. He's working well up high. Try that groove.
Mark Martin, meantime, sifting his way through those lap cars, getting by the 46 of Larry Pearson there. 149 laps remaining. Mark Martin is out in front. It breaks into clear traffic down into turn 1. That shows you how strong the 60 car is. We'll be back at the Rock with more in a moment. Welcome back live to Rockingham. Want to invite you to stop by NASCAR Thunder. We've got a couple of stores open at Gwinnett Place Mall in Atlanta, also at Haynes Mall in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Our Go Racing line of clothing available very soon in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Westtown Mall. Also in Dallas, Texas, at the Vista Ridge Mall. So stop by another dozen stores or so set to open here in the early part of 1997. So stop by NASCAR Thunder at your next opportunity. We are racing down the main straightaway, and look at this. Ricky Craven long gone. Chad Little in the 23 and the 74. Randy LaJoie. This is a dogfight for 7th spot.
Randy LaJoie right now is acting like a guy that has the points lead.
Yeah, he is.
He's one straightaway behind the lead car, and he's holding that exactly one straightaway back. He's not getting himself in any trouble. I think he has a lot of race car, but I think he's being extra cautious.
I know you like Randy LaJoie a lot.
Yeah.
Isn't the difference for him this year he's become more patient?
I used to stand up here with Buddy and watch him race, and he would we'd jump out of our seats watching him. He'd make big moves on the racetrack, do all kinds of wild and crazy things, at least we thought so. And he'd win or finish well sometime, but most of the time he'd get in trouble. Now he drives with maturity. He drives with confidence. He is a much better race driver than I ever thought he was going to, tell you the truth.
And you have to put that all on Steve Bird, his crew chief. I think right there is what it is. I think Steve Bird talks to him continuously, keeps him going, just like Ray Evernham does with Jeff Gordon.
And
I think communication is a lot of it.
That in itself is amazing because Birdie is he's a real energetic, hyper kind of guy himself. I mean, I've seen him go off on pit road before. So they just complement each other, I would say.
Field standing update up at the top of your screen, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running as we ride with Phil Parsons, who was caught up in that very early wreck, and the car is very much torn up in the front. Great battle here between David Green and the 32 of Dale Jarrett. This is for 2nd spot. And on pit road, Randy, what are they saying?
Well, Dale Jarrett initially said his car was loose, but then the track seemed to start coming to him. One thing that Dale has made was an observation about the 2 car, and that is that the 2 seem to be running a groove that is a lot higher, and it seemed to be working for him. He said, I'm going to go ahead and try it. So Dale Jarrett's looking at other guys and their lines out there. No adjustments as he talked about over the radio. The 5 car for Terry Labonte, when they start looking for their pit stop around lap 60 for the first stop, couple around a wedge out of that car, and then down 2 pounds of air on his front tires. The other guy that's been making a lot of noise is Buckshot Jones from the cockpit of the 00. He just said we're going to make an air pressure adjustment as well, and we're going to get the tightness out of that car. I do want to make one point. Greg Sachs started 21st, a shot by Buckshot Jones, and really has that 45 car on the move. Now let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks, Randy. I checked with David Green's crew because David had dropped back a little bit and allowed Dale Jarrett to close the gap on him as they battle for second place. David reports that his car is tight in the middle and a little bit loose off. Meanwhile, we checked with Mark Martin. We're monitoring his radio contact with his crew, and Mark is saying that he's having to ease in and out of the throttle so delicately because the car being a little loose that we just got a report that Terry Labonte's going to pit. But Mark's saying that he's using the gas so little that he may try to stretch this thing and go to the halfway point, so he only has to make one stop. Back to Randy in the 5 pit.
Well, suddenly Terry Labonte came over the radio and said, we're going to pit now. So he was complaining a little bit about either the set of tires that he had on or the tires in general. They're around the right side of the Bear Chevrolet. Now to the left, going to be a 4-tire stop. Each team has access to 3 sets of tires. There goes the wedge wrench. Now Terry Labonte gets a little bit of an adjustment. Left side tires are on, all the lug nuts loose, then they're tight. I don't know if they got them all tight or not, but Terry Labonte is down and away.
Shuffles Labonte back to 20th on the lead lap if he didn't get left on that green flag pit stop.
Let me make an observation about the 2 car, and Buddy and I were talking about this. He's going to run fast for a while, but he's going to wear his tires out quicker than the other boys are because the track is green and mean up there high. Nobody's been running up there, no rubber. So he's going to make some noise, but I'm afraid it's going to cost him in the end.
Ricky Craven in the 2 car is sitting 4th. You saw David Green and Dale Jarrett there 2nd and 3rd. EJ runs up on the back of Green. They've got the Rodney Combs car there too as they come out of turn 4. Dale's not a factor in this points race. Is he just willing to ride right now and let this thing settle out?
Well, I think him complaining that the car was a little loose now is starting to come to him. I think Dale Jarrett has matured also as a race car driver to the point that he does not push an issue. Right now he has a lot of race car. Why go up there and maybe wear the tires out a little early just to make a position? Right now he's running very well in 3rd spot. I just sit there and let it come to me.
Yeah, he can see Mark up there. Mark's not really getting away, so there's nothing to be gained right now by racing anybody. So, yeah, I'd say his experience in Winston Cup and him being 3rd in the point standings, knowing how important it is to finish well, he's taking advantage of the situation.
Certainly as David Green continues to run 2nd. Dale Jarrett is 3rd. Glenn Jarrett on pit road.
Well, I have to go along with what Buddy and Darrell are saying about Dale Jarrett. Also, guys, I think that he probably knows what Mark Martin's crew was saying, too, that if Mark can stay out there and nobody challenging for position and they're comfortable, stretch that fuel for as long as you can go and see if you can go halfway and only make one stop. So I think he's saving fuel, too.
You know, Rick, I would say right now the biggest thing is that everybody's looking at the 5 car that just stopped for tires. He's running a full second quicker right now. Even though he did make a pit stop, he's a second faster than any car on the racetrack right now. And whether you can stay out there till halfway and stretch your tires with Terry Labonte running a full second quicker or something, I mean, it could bite you. They may be looking at that and stop pretty quick.
Mark Martin moving by some lap traffic up onto the backstretch. He's got open racetrack in front of him once again right now. And Allen Jr. and Garrett Cope battling much deeper in the pack.
Jarrett got by the 95 car Green, and now he's in 2nd place. And I believe he might be just a tick quicker than Mark Martin is.
As he moves to the inside, some lap traffic there again. That's still Glenn Allen Jr. in the 26 rather of Derek Cope, and DJ with a nice move down low. Now he splits himself off from Green with that pass.
Well, what he's going to do now, he heard Mark Martin. I guarantee you they listen to what's going on between the pit crews and all. They've heard that he has a condition getting loose, getting in the corner.
Yeah.
When they find that out, Jarrett said, let me go up there and put a little pressure on him. Since he's so unhappy with the way it's getting in the corner, they'll jump on you if they know you have a weakness.
A great move by Dale Jarrett, making the move by and stretching it out. Now David Green back to 3rd spot. Your leader is Mark Martin. We'll see if Dale Jarrett can start to reel him in. 128 laps remaining this afternoon at the Rock. 76 laps complete at Rockingham this afternoon. The AC-Delco 200 live coverage here on TNN Motorsports. Pole sitter Buckshot Jones is on pit road. And he is going to get new rubber as they move around to the left side of that car. That car has been backpedaling quite a bit since the first group of laps.
Well, I'm sure they're glad to get in and make some adjustments on that car. When they're not right, that's a miserable feeling here at Rockingham. It's a great racetrack when everything's working, but if you're a little bit off, a little bit is a bunch here.
Oh yeah, you go so fast around here. When the tires go away and you got a slick surface on top of that, then you get your work cut out for you.
Mark Martin has everything working perfectly for him at the moment. Started 5th. came to first in short order here this afternoon. 78 laps on the board, and he is your leader. A little further back, Mike McLaughlin is up to 4th spot now, having gotten by Ricky Craven as they move by the wounded Phil Parsons' car down between turns 1 and 2. And Craven now giving up ground quickly on McLaughlin.
Well, just like Darrell said a while ago, he used that high line, and it was good because it's green racetrack and he is getting a good bite, but he is also peeling those tires off. And right now he's just pedaling until he can come in and get fresh tires.
You'll see this. It'll change again, Rick. When they get tires on them, make some chassis adjustments, everybody will be right back down on the bottom again. Fresh tires will let you do that.
Glenn Allen Jr. and Jeremy Mayfield among those cars on pit road as we follow Ricky Craven out of turn 2. Shadows starting to come into play just a little bit, not quite 3 o'clock Eastern time here, so it'll be a while yet before the shadows develop. Now, tomorrow afternoon, when you all go racing, Darrell Waltrip, that'll be a problem late in the afternoon.
It is. We cover the windshields almost. You think we can't see where we're going because we cover up about half of it to keep the sun out of our eyes.
Craven doing a nice job today, sitting 5th and riding comfortably at the moment, fighting perhaps the tire condition. And some of the leaders starting to make green flag pit stops. Larry Pearson also ducking out of pit road just now. But Craven riding all alone there in 5th spot. McLaughlin has moved by him and gone away.
You know, Rick, with those 4 tires that Terry took early, he's made up a half a lap. Wow. He's here at the start line. Mark Martin's on the back straightaway about halfway down. So he's made up a lot of ground. Now, the problem's going to be is that Mark gets fresh tires. He'll probably make that back up on him.
At the moment, Labonte being shown back in 22nd spot as we look at another battle for position. Jeff Fuller's car on the Speedway doing a nice job. Fuller is 13th. Dave Marcus back there in that mix of cars, as well as Curtis Markham. Kevin LePage taking the 88 car into pit road as well. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Meantime, there's Derek Cope back up on the Speedway. Some of the cars here now do pit on the backstretch today. 31 pit stalls on the front straightaway here at Rockingham. So that meant 11 of our field today had to pit on the backstretch. And as we talk about frequently, that is usually considered a disadvantage. There's Fuller and Cope, and Fuller on the low side of the ST Motorsports Chevrolet, tucking in behind Cope now as they run down into turn 1.
Rick, it's going to be a big advantage to Mark Martin if he can go on one stop. I mean, how are you going to beat the fastest car here and if he stops one less time?
Absolutely. We're showing 83 laps right now. They're in the window. The lead cars are going to have to make a decision pretty quick because they're beginning. I'm watching the cars just through the corner. All of them are starting to hang out just a little bit. You can see how far sideways the 60 car Mark Martin is right there. It's really loose getting through the corner.
Yeah, it's getting kind of ugly out there right now. Everybody's all over the place, and they can't anybody really pass anybody without taking a big chance.
Chad Little onto pit road. Also, Dave Marcus brings Kenny Schrader's AC-Delco car down. Chad Little getting some new tires on the outside of the car, getting that windshield scrubbed off, and he'll be ready to go at it with 84 laps on the board. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, he is in the pits there, Rick, and they put it down now. They will go to the left side. We were talking during the break there. We won't see any 2 tire changes today. They're on the left side now. And a little bit of trouble with the jack there, but not too serious. All in all, pretty good stop. Chad's down and away. He was running, I believe, in the 6th position, so we're already starting to see those guys. Meanwhile, Jarrett and Martin just continue to ride around. As long as nobody's pressuring them, they're going to stay out there and stretch it as long as possible.
They are 1 and 2. Mark Martin, your race leader, with 85 of 197 laps complete. Todd Bodine brings the 81 car, the Ron Neal machine, onto pit road. They've been very strong. He had come from 36th up to 10th spot just a moment ago. As we see the Cape Canaveral Lines car come down, and the attention of the Protec Motorsports crew, tires on the outside, and it looks as though Ricky Craven is also going to come on pit road. They put the outside tires on the 81 car, fuel being put in as well. Here's Craven's machine. Mark Green also on the pit road. Craven with the attention of the DuPont crew, the Teflon Krytox machine. Craven will get new rubber on the right side and, of course, left side as well. Randy Pemberton, you're close by.
Well, you're right. Just going to be 4 tires. Try and get it done as quick as possible. They gave up as much track position as they possibly could before they came down pit road. Smooth pit stop so far for the DuPont team. Left side tires going on down on the way. Excellent pit stop for these guys.
Yeah, he's got a great pit crew, and you're going to see the difference on the racetrack here in just a minute. You know, Mark's going to go to that 100-lap marker. It's going to get real close.
Unbelievable.
And that's going to be a big advantage for him. Well, why wouldn't you? He's leading the race. Obviously, he's having no problems. If he can do this in one stop, everybody's in big trouble.
Is that a testimony to how smooth he is, that he can save his tires for that length of time?
It's just how good the car is, Rick. I mean, the car is awesome. It's smooth. He's a good driver. I mean, he's got it all going for him.
Darrell, we have a camera inside of Mark Martin's car in just a few minutes. As you can see going down the front straightaway, it'll be interesting just to run a lap and kind of see what his car is doing. You can see a little bit of glare there as he started off right in the middle of turn 1. Now he's looking down the back straightaway. You can see the car is tracking pretty good for this late in a run.
Yeah, he's coming up on 90 laps, and I'm sure there's a bunch of guys wish they could go 90 laps.
Martin smoothly through 3 and 4. Now looks like Jason Keller is going to bring the Slim Jim Chevrolet down on the pit road. Green flag pit stops. We had that one early caution 4 laps in when Greg Biffle spun in turn 4, and several cars piled into him. Since then, we've been green all the way as we watch Keller bring the car on the pit road.
You know, Rick, one thing that makes me jump off my seat here is when you get ready to pit here, you got to slow down in the racing groove to get into the pit lane. And man, I can't tell you how many misses there's been down here from cars slowing down to turn into pits and nobody knows it, and man, it gets close.
Service being done to the Jason Keller machine, the Slim Jim Halloween Havoc WCW car. New paint scheme that Buddy Baker talked about earlier in the broadcast. Second and last time we'll see that this season as the Keller Racing crew goes at it. Change the left side tires, and Jason Keller is down and away in 27.2 seconds. Keller with a good run going here this afternoon.
Now, Rick, one thing we got to be aware of here, Mark has given up a lot of track position, or a lot of track time with those old tires. All these other guys have got new tires on right now. They could really put him in jeopardy. Terry Labonte he's a straightaway behind Mark Martin right now. So maybe this is not a good strategy. Maybe Mark should have got those fresh tires on a little earlier.
Labonte at the moment has come back to 8th position on the lead lap, right behind Dennis Setzer, Curtis Markham. Martin is your leader in the 60 car. Jarrett Green, McLaughlin, and now Randy LaJoie is up to 5th. We'll be right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by the more than 1,450 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
Gorgeous afternoon in the Carolina Sandhills. Our Durloo aerial camera giving us some wonderful pictures as we watch more of the cars coming onto pit road. Dale Jarrett will make a green flag pit stop from 3rd position. Randy Pemberton.
Well, they're waiting for Dale Jarrett to hit his spot. He complained early on about the car being loose. If you're new to Winston Cup or Busch Series racing, a lot of ways you can adjust that. Do it by tape, pulling tape off the front grille. There goes the track bar adjustment. That's what Dale Jarrett opted for. Down on the track bar, that will tighten up his Band-Aid forward. Could have done it with a little air pressure. They chose to go the same route they had on the first 4 tires. They're on the left-hand side. Not the quickest of pit stops, but a nice smooth stop. They got the left rear done, waiting on the left front. That's going to hurt him a little bit. He's down and away, 28.3. Mark Martin will be in about a lap and a half.
So Dale Jarrett gives up a lot of track position with that one, but the tires may indeed help him get back up through there. David Green up out of the group. Kevin LePage down there. A lot of close racing. Several groups of cars around the track.
I'm speechless. That crowd going right there, about 10 or 12 cars right there. They were all together at one time. I couldn't tell who was who. And they all went off in the corner twice here. And Lanigan's right up in the middle of them, and David Green was right up in the middle of them too. That's quite a race right there.
You know, Darrell, after the cycle here, everybody stops and gets new tires in the next 5 or 6 laps here. It's going to be interesting to see how they shake out and who is actually leading after the cycle when everybody makes their first stop. I think Terry Labonte's going to be a lot better off than we think.
Well, he is for the time being. Now the question is, he's got to come in again and get 4 tires. We know that. The question is, how much time has Mark given up? See, Terry was behind on the get-go. He had a loose condition, or his tire, right rear front tire was bad. He had to stop, but he's taken full advantage of that, I tell you.
Meantime, Mark Martin, the race leader, is coming off of pit road, coming off the Speedway onto pit road, and the crew is ready to receive him there.
Here comes Green, too.
Randy Pemberton will watch Mark Martin come to a halt on pit road. He has led since the early going here.
David Green coming down pit road right now. He's mirroring him right coming in with Mark Martin.
Randy Pemberton.
Mark Martin sits in his pits. I, along with his Winston Cup crew chief, Steve Meal, watching these stops. He'll be interested to see the tires when they peel them off. I asked Steve, any adjustments for Mark? He said, are you kidding? 4 new skins and he's gone. That's it. So they're on the left-hand side. Had a little trouble with the left rear. Left front is done. Mark down and away. Glenn Jarrett.
We're down in great David Green's pit, Randy, and he is also going for the 4-tire change. They had decided all along that they would follow Martin into pits, and that's exactly what they did. A little bit of trouble getting the car jacked up with the left side. Right rear tire changer was way ahead of everybody else. I've got the clock on them. We're already up over 24 seconds. A little bit slow, but not too bad under race conditions.
Curtis Markham had inherited the lead. He comes onto pit road in the Lysol Chevrolet now, as the cars work around and get ready to get back to green flag racing.
David Green gave up 1/2 a lap on that pit stop, on that exchange. Mark came in, they came on pit lane together. He was on the same straightaway with him before the pit stop. He's now almost a 1/2 lap behind. They had a real slow stop or some kind of problem down there.
Nice job by the Hensley Racing crew working on Curtis Markham's machine. He'll be leaving that car at the end of the season, and that is a Pontiac. Terry Labonte, meantime, has parlayed all this into the race lead at the moment with 100 laps on the board.
Boy, I tell you, he was so fast. I mean, like a second a lap faster there.
He was, Daryl, but right now he'll be a second slower than the car is trying to catch him. So, man, it's just going to be a waiting game, and we do know that Labonte will have to stop again. So right now, Labonte's at the mercy of the court of caution. Would really help him out right now.
Oh, yeah, it put him back. He was off from the start, so he had to make that early stop. Sometimes that works out. You just have to wait and see.
Jeff Green, one of the drivers we talked about at the top of the broadcast today, who badly needs a win in the Earnhardt Racing #3. Green back in 12th spot, very much in the point chase here this afternoon, so he needs at least a good finish, but a guy who really would like to take that car to victory lane before the end of the year. Your race leader continues to be Terry Labonte in car #5. Our Stanley Tools mid-race report brought to you by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right. We've had 4 leaders so far this afternoon with 4 lead changes. Average speed nearly 122 miles an hour. Just that one 8-lap caution very early in the race.
Do you see who's leading the race? Ricky Cravens. He did that in the pits. He came in behind Mark. Now he's leading the race. And the green car gave up any chance he had of being competitive or in contention in the pits.
Terry Labonte in the 5 and Craven in the 2, both at the head of the pack right now. And Labonte down inside of Ed Spencer the 3rd as they work down into turn 1 and 2. We're past halfway, 105 laps complete, 92 remaining here at the Rock this afternoon. We're glad to have you with us on TNN Motorsports. Back with more after this. I want to invite you to check out NASCAR online before, during, and after the race at www.nascar.com. The 24-hour NASCAR Garage Pass. All the information you need on NASCAR online. We are under caution at Rockingham, second time today. Buckshot Jones in that brand new Aquafresh Pontiac hammered the turn 2 wall a good lick, and this is going to allow the leaders onto pit road. Labonte now has the race lead. Craven right behind him in second. This will change the strategy quite a bit.
Oh man, Terry Labonte is like a prophet right now. He needed a caution to win this thing. He got the caution he needed. I think this is a big break for Terry.
Labonte will get 4 tires, we presume. Now remember, we told you at the top of the broadcast, 3 sets of tires today. The Busch Series tire rule.
Rick, you see what happened there is the 5 car Labonte's in. He needed tires. Mark Martin took on tires 11 laps ago, and he's back in there getting another set. So this really played in Terry Labonte's strategy.
Busch Series point leader is also in, Glenn Jarrett.
Randy LaJoie brought the 74 Phoenix Chevrolet in, and it's a 4-tire stop again. Right behind him, David Green has brought his Caterpillar Chevrolet in. They're also going 4 tires. I don't think that their car hooked up as good, and LaJoie is down and away. Green's car didn't hook up as well on that set of tires as they did on the tires they started the race on. So he was also glad to see this caution. In fact, he was only 2 seconds behind leader Terry Labonte of going a lap down.
David Green back onto the speedway, as is Jeff Green, his brother. Let's show you what happened here in turn 2. This is Buckshot Jones loose into 2.
Yeah, he was loose off of 4. He took my breath off of 4. And I think he was having a problem long before this happened.
Daryl, you can see him driving into the slide. Well, this is after the actual losing of control, but he corrected back, and all of a sudden it took a bite towards the outside wall, and he was along with the spectator when it hit the outside wall.
Tough way to debut a brand new race car, too. That new Pontiac that they put on the pole this weekend, brand new to their shops. So Buckshot Jones brings out the second yellow of the afternoon. Terry Labonte will take us to green in a few moments, and we'll be back. Back live at Rockingham, the AC-Delco 200 today on TNN Motorsports. Under caution for the second time this afternoon for a Buckshot Jones crash. Time now for our Pep Boys driver profile. Come on into Pep Boys, where service and quality are always #1. The 1996 Busch Grand National Points Chase is everything a fan could ask for. After the Charlotte race 2 weeks ago, Randy LaJoie took the points lead with a 6th place finish. The question now is, do either David Green or LaJoie change their strategies for the final 2 races of the 1996 season?
We're a lot better off now than we were 2 weeks ago, so we just need to keep doing what we're doing. I can't make any mistakes. The guys on pit road can't make any mistakes, and we just need to continue having the same luck we've been having, whether we haven't had any bad luck and we haven't had any good luck. So we've just maintained, just put the luck out of it, and I think we'll be okay.
Maybe I think now I might be a little more, I might say hungry or more aggressive or whatever, but at the same time, I've been in that situation where that's bit you. So the bottom line and the foundation is do the same old thing David Green's done each and every week, and maybe turn the intensity up just to maybe a click or two. So I feel comfortable with that.
Looks like David Green has certainly turned the intensity up a few clicks here today. Here's how the points scenario shapes up. This race, and of course Homestead remaining. LaJoie wins it if he finishes first and Green finishes 38th. Not likely today. They're both up in the top 10. Or if he finishes second, David finishes 41st. Or if Randy finishes fifth or better here and at Homestead. Green, meantime, could regain the points lead if Randy were to finish last today and David finished 25th or better. Green could leave here with as much as a 93-point lead. Again, not likely at the moment. Randy LaJoie is fifth. David Green will restart 10th today. And we're 115 laps in. So we've got, 82 remaining here this afternoon as Elmo Langley leads the field under yellow.
You know, Rick, I wish they'd have had this kind of stuff going on back when I was running for the championship. We had to figure all this out on our own. We couldn't watch TV.
Did you?
We didn't. We had to sit there and figure all this out, who finishes where and how,
It
who
wasn't
leads
that
the most
long ago.
laps. Think about 1992. Kawicki won the championship because he led the most laps at Atlanta. Bill Elliott could have won it if he'd have led the most laps. He elected to pit early, cost him a championship.
You guys knew. I remember you coming up, Bud. You're starting on the pole. I would like to lead a lap.
Jarrett, what do you think about that?
I was just going to ask Darrell if they had television back when he ran.
It was black and white, but we still got it.
That's what I like. An honest man.
It was shortly after the invention of the cathode ray tube. That wasn't really that long ago. Still under caution, but it looks like we're ready to go restart and go racing here. We've got 116 complete, and Terry Labonte on the low side with Ricky Craven right there, and right behind him sitting third, Mark Martin for the restart. This ought to be a dandy.
I love his fast cars to the inside, especially
I like
at
that.
Rockingham. That's great. Busch Grand National always starts their cars with the fast cars on the preferred line, which is the bottom line around the racetrack.
Yeah, well, you give the fastest qualifier the inside pole. Why would you do that? Not do that during the race? I never have understood that either.
Look at how quickly Labonte hooks up and scoots away. He opens up about 6 car lengths over Craven as they move to the back straightaway. Dale Jarrett climbs to 4th, and Randy LaJoie moves into 5th where he had been. Mike McLaughlin is there in 6th spot. Remember that David Green is back on 10th in the restart, and Labonte with a high line there out there.
I got to tell you something. He's on borrowed time right now. I think he has 2 race cars, maybe 3 to 5 cars right behind him that are really going to work him over. You see Labonte going high there.
Way high.
And loses the lead as Ricky Craven goes by, and here comes Mark Martin right behind him.
Yeah, well, Terry, you know, sometimes the tires just don't hook up when they're brand new. And of course, we'll have to wait and see if that comes back to him or not. Boy, we got a traffic jam over turn 3 there.
Sure do. Look at that. The 29 of Elliott Sadler backing way out of the throttle. A couple of cars. Dave Marcus and Jeff Fuller had to go way high to get around him. Kevin LePage sneaks low, and the 29 of Sadler in some trouble down the main straightaway very slowly. Everybody gets by.
He's either not under power or has a flat tire, and it looks like no power.
Ricky Craven, meantime, setting the pace up onto the backstretch and into turn 3 and 4. Again, we lapped very quickly here. Not 25 seconds in the Busch Series. I'll show you again what happens down into 3. Sadler checks up.
Yeah, you know, the good thing about that is this racetrack today has a couple of other grooves. If that's some of the racetracks we've been to lately, that could have been big.
Darrell, the big thing there was he's able to hold the car straight through that whole corner, and he didn't try to get out of anybody's way. Once you have a problem, stay where you're at and let everybody else find their way by.
Meantime, Randy LaJoie is on the move. This race may be coming to the 74 car. He just blew by Dale Jarrett to take over 3rd spot now. So LaJoie onto the main straightaway. He's got some open racetrack, and Terry Labonte backing up.
This is Terry Labonte we saw at the beginning of the race. You know, he started off, he went backwards, he had to pit early. Maybe we got a problem.
Look at this, Darrell. You got Mark Martin going for the lead down into turn 3 there. And I tell you what, Ricky Craven putting up a valiant effort on the outside, but it looks like Mark Martin's going to get the drive down the front straightaway.
And of course, everybody can go the rest of the way on tires and fuel. So that's bad news for the competition when Mark takes the lead and starts to put a little daylight between you and him.
Mark Martin out in front right now, dropping Craven back to 2nd. LaJoie is up to 3rd. We look a little further back in the pack. Labonte and Todd Bodine, who has turned in a terrific drive today in that Cape Canaveral Cruise Lines car. Labonte at the moment hanging on to 6th, Bodine 7th. Todd Bodine started 36th here this afternoon and has climbed all the way to 7th. He's been on a roll for quite some time as we watch the race down through the trioval, down through the dog leg here. Chad Little in that mix of cars as well.
Let me tell you about running the outside, especially when everybody's on new tires. You're sitting on the outside of a car and you go in the corner and you say, I hope he doesn't realize he can get a lot more side bite with 8 tires than he can afford. And that's what you got to worry about when you're on that outside line like that. If the guy on the inside gets a little loose or something, he slams into you and into the wall you go. Happened to me at Charlotte last year.
David Green is also in that group of cars a little further back. Remember, Green took the green flag on the restart 10th. He's passed one car. He's up to 9th. Kevin LePage right behind him in 10th as the body slips high.
Terry.
Everybody goes underneath.
Yeah,
I don't know whether he had a traction problem or just what happened there. The Terry Labonte went extremely high, lost about 4 or 5 positions in one corner, and you can see he cannot hold the car down on the lower part of the racetrack.
Now, will he just say, I'm coming in, guys, I need another set, or will he try to hang on?
He'll wait a little while, but he can't wait too long.
Randy LaJoie moving up on the back deck lid now. Ricky Craven taking a look inside. Craven blocks him down for the moment.
He's up there again. He's got a problem. Excuse me.
Down the backstretch into turn 3.
Randy LaJoie is running like there's no tomorrow. I was talking about how he was very patient, but I think right now track position is so important here. You see Randy LaJoie, he might be running the same speed he was earlier in the race, but right down on the bottom, this car is hooked up. Don't be surprised if he don't pull it off. He's already won at Dover this year, and this type of racetrack kind of fits his driving style. He's very aggressive, and this racetrack it just suits him, I think, Daryl.
Yeah, he does. He's staying in the gas, on the gas.
Mark Martin continues to be your race leader, 126 complete. We've got about 71 laps to go. Randy Pemberton.
Well, Terry Labonte has steadily been falling back. He's now back to 11th. First he said, well, the car seems to pick up a push all of a sudden. And he said, guys, I think I might have broke something. So they may very well have broken a shock mount is the speculation from the seat of the 5 car. So they're conferring down here, but obviously they can't come in under green and take a look. Yeah, it's bottoming out on him, so he's got problems. They're hoping for another caution. Please take a look at it.
Terry dropping back to 11th spot right now behind the leaders. Meantime, we've got a great battle for the first 3 spots. Martin, your leader. We're on board with Mark Martin. Ricky Craven right behind him, and Randy LaJoie, the series point leader, is there as well. A lot more action to come your way this afternoon from the Rock. We'll be back after this. Welcome back live to Rockingham, North Carolina on TNN. Mark Martin is your leader. Right behind him, though, is Ricky Craven, and Dale Jarrett is the guy who's really been on the move. Look at this. DJ's going to try for second here on the backstretch.
Give me forward bite. Now, it's what he has. You can see right now Dale Jarrett is really hooked up. He's tremendous from the center part of the corner. Right about here, you can just see him pull away from the 2-car Ricky Craven.
Yeah, he's got a good set of tires on there this time. They came at the right time also.
Well, you made a comment that the 60 car of Mark Martin was out there just riding around right now. I don't think he's going to have that luxury very long. It looks like Dale Jarrett is moving in on him.
Another guy who's moving up quite a bit is David Green. Now, we saw him restart after that last caution in 10th. He's up to 7th. We're going to show you what he did here with Chad Little a moment ago.
Yeah, remember I told you he was a little more aggressive today, and he has been being. And he even admitted he was going to turn the wick up a little bit.
That's the bump and run.
Yes, excuse me.
So David Green now is up to 7th spot. He knows he has to stay close to Randy LaJoie, who is running in 4th position. Martin is your leader right now as we watch David Green track along in 7th spot. Glenn Jarrett.
Well, guys, I just checked in with the 95 and the 74 crews to see what was going on. LaJoie's car has gotten really loose on him, that his crew chief Steve Bird told me. Also, Butch Enders, the team manager for David Green, says that after that last pit stop, they made no adjustments, that the car was perfect. It was a little bit slow getting out of the pit. He started in 10th. We've seen him move up through the field, but he really likes the way it feels right now.
He's got plenty of time. 62 laps remaining here this afternoon. Plenty of time to make a move. Kevin LePage, a nice run for LePage today, up to 8th again.
He's closing down fast on the 81 and the 95 car.
That's a team that really has come around here in the last part of this season since LePage took the chair in that.
Yeah, he's really done a good job in that car. You know, he was a struggling guy on his own kind, and those 2 teams came together, or he as a driver and that as a team, and they've done very, very well.
Todd Bodine right in front, running 6th in the 81. Remember, we told you Bodine started 36th today, so hard to imagine anybody would have passed more cars on the way through. Dick Trickle, who started back in 42nd, make me a liar. He's up to 12th, so they've each passed 30 cars here with 60 laps to go today, and David Green now takes a look inside Todd Bodine into 1.
Yep, again, that's an aggressive move to pass on the inside, getting down into 1 right there. I've seen David Green back off many Sundays and let the other guy go, or Saturdays, and this time he takes it on in there.
So Green assumes 6th position now. Randy LaJoie, he's going to need to get the whip out. He's in 4th spot. He's got some work to do up there.
And he's falling back too, and the car seems to be giving him a problem with McLaughlin closing down on him pretty quick.
We take a look at that battle. It's Todd Bodine with LePage now, and Green in front of him in the Caterpillar 95. Green, remember, a moment ago took away 6th position. He's got Mike McLaughlin next in his gun sights as we race into the final third of this one this afternoon at Rockingham. Mark Martin continues to be your race leader, but the race within a race really is the battle for the Busch Series Point Championship this year. Wounded car, Phil Parsons dropping down low to let those 3 go by.
We better explain that.
I heard this whoa, whoa, whoa in the background here.
Man, that's scary.
I'm not on a ladder here or anything. I didn't know what was going on there.
That slow car was Phil Parsons, and he was right there in the groove in the 95. I thought he was going to hit him.
David Green just about went in the trunk lid.
No, he did. Phil doesn't have a front end. He was getting ready to lose his back end.
Green feels fine, and that is good to see. Those of us who were in Charlotte 2 weeks ago, that was a scary lick he took against the 85 car of Shane Hall. We showed it to you at the top of the broadcast today, and Green was he was hurting for a few days.
Yeah, but you know, 51 points with a couple of races to go, that's big.
Oh yeah, and a lot at stake. The Busch Series champion wins a huge check at the end of the season, and both these drivers really want that. Randy LaJoie, the series leader, he's 4th, trying to hold Mike McLaughlin back.
Well, he's trying to hold him back, but he's already complaining that the car is loose to his crew chief, Steve Bird. And the worst place to be loose, I think, on the whole circuit is right here at Rockingham. You have to get down in the corner under control. If you're loose getting in, it messes up the whole corner for you. So right now, he's doing the best he can with a loose car.
Not only is it the worst place, this is the worst time, because if we don't get another caution, he's got to live with that thing to the end, and that could really hurt him at the get down to the end.
Mike McLaughlin in the Royal Oak charcoal car, running in 5th position right now behind LaJoie. Mark Martin holds on to the point. Uncontested at the moment. He's got Dale Jarrett back there, also Ricky Craven. Back with more from Rockingham after this. Welcome back live to Rockingham on TNN Motorsports. We watched the battle for position between Mike McLaughlin, who's taken over 4th, Randy LaJoie, who's now back in 5th. Here's David Green, the other guy with a shot at the point title. He's back at 6th, so Green is watching this thing and loving it.
David Green has to be loving it because he is the next car behind LaJoie now. So this points thing is, I mean, they're starting to come together here. And we already have heard that the 74 car of LaJoie is having a problem. David Green's loving his car. It won't be long before he's bumper right up there against him.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is he's got to be careful, too. He's got 3 real hungry guys right behind him, so he could give up 3 spots just as easily as he could gain 1 right now.
And we've lost 5 cars from the start of this one. We still have 50-some laps to go here, so if either of these cars was to fall out now, they would certainly finish pretty deep in the pack, and that would affect the point chase quite a bit. For now, at least, the 2-point contenders are 5th and 6th.
You know, Terry Labonte had a problem on that restart. I think he had the air pressure way too low in his right front tire, and he thought the car was something wrong with it. He is chasing these guys back down, and I don't think he's the fastest car on the track, but he is one of the quicker cars on the track right now.
Todd Bodine in 7th spot, gave up that spot to David Green a few laps back and hasn't made much progress toward the front for a time there. Todd Bodine looked like he had the fastest car here this afternoon. Jeff Green a couple of spots back in 9th. Kevin LePage sandwiched between the 3 and the 81. Jeff Green tries to go inside, can't do it as they lap up on Jeff Purvis. Now, we told you a moment ago Mark Martin was all by himself. Not anymore. Look at that 32 car.
No, you didn't say that.
Yeah,
I
did.
You said uncontested.
Yeah.
This is contest right here.
As they race through 3 and 4, and Martin now with his hands full.
Yeah, we got a new player.
Dale Jarrett moving by the Greg Biffle machine, the 51 car there. Martin has led much of the afternoon. 93 laps, a typical Busch Series performance, really, from Mark Martin, who's won 5 of these races so far this year, bidding to make it 6 before the season winds down in November at Homestead in Dixie Ford. But as we say, Dale Jarrett again, for about the 3rd time this afternoon, is really putting pressure on Martin.
Yeah, but Dale didn't get through traffic at all there. They were going by a car that was a lap down, and quite frankly, Mark got a very clean run into the corner. You can see Dale Jarrett drop back about 10 car lengths there. And to make up 10 car lengths on Mark Martin, that's going to take about 8 or 10 laps to get back up there again, if he can.
And you were saying you thought when Martin saw some pressure, he had a little more left in him.
I think his rearview mirror is hooked up to his accelerator pedal, to tell you the truth. I'm not saying he's sandbagging. Don't get me wrong.
No.
I'm not accusing him of anything other than being smart. I'm trying to make the point that he's a smart guy.
Kevin LePage has picked up a spot anytime LePage moved by Todd Bodine a moment ago for 7th. Randy Pemberton.
Well, I was talking to Dale Jarrett's crew, John Irvin in particular. I said, has he got anything for Mark Martin, and where does he stand as far as how hard he's running on these tires compared to where the checker flag falls? He said, man, Randy, I don't think he's got anything for him. Dale's running it about as hard as he can. He thinks Mark is just riding just hard enough to stay in front of him. I do want to make one other update. Buckshot Jones, who was involved in that accident just a few laps ago, they are going to transport him to a local hospital. Seems as though he banged up his nose pretty good. So Buckshot, they're going to go and check him out at a local hospital.
Well, I tell you what, Dick Trickle is...
Mark Martin just put a little lick on Dick.
Well, you know, Trickle's not paying the proper respect to the leader here now. He needs to get over and let him go by.
exactly right. Trying to stay in the lead lap there and just got in the way real bad. And you can see Mark Martin had to give him a little chuck here.
And then listen, Dick Trickle is Mark Martin's hero. Matter of fact, all these guys from Midwest, Dick Trickle is their hero. Matter of fact, he's my hero. So
500 career victories, most of them on the short tracks of Wisconsin, many in the ASA series, and that was some hard contact, Glenn Jarrett.
Well, it was, and it all started down here in turn one right before they went up the backstretch there, guys. Martin had pulled down under Trickle going into one to try to lap him, and Trickle absolutely slammed the door on him. Martin went down on the apron to miss him, and so I'm sure that was just a little payback there to let you know, hey, buddy, I'm the leader. Get out of my way.
Meantime, David Green has drawn right up on the back bumper of Randy LaJoie as they head up onto the backstretch. This will be the battle for 5th spot, and Green takes a look down low.
Now, Green, you see, he come in there, he let him know he's there. You see Randy LaJoie wash up the racetrack, David Green makes the pass. Or you see Randy fighting back on the outside, but he's got to give this up going into turn one, I think.
Yeah, it's tough. But
Randy, give up is not in Randy LaJoie's dictionary.
It's really tough getting in the corner under somebody. You need that little bit more room to let the car drift up just a little bit. It really is hard when a guy pinches you down.
You see David Green running this low line right now. If he could use the ideal way around the racetrack, he'd drive right on by Randy LaJoie. But right now, he's having to earn that spot because Randy's not giving him the proper angle to get in the corner real fast.
Oh, he got him here, I think. He's going to force
him. Don't make the mistake I made. Here he comes back.
He'll force him up, though. See, that's what he needed to do. I mean, it's not the nice thing to do, but that's what he needed to do.
Oh, you're a treacherous old guy. I didn't realize you thought like that.
You get down on it when you get down underneath somebody. I mean, you know, the guy on the outside is in a wee bit of trouble.
Randy LaJoie now still holding on to the point lead. This is the way it would be at the end of the race if they finished like this in 6th and 7th position, or 5th and 6th with 41 laps remaining, and Green would be able to make up at least a few points here. LaJoie at this point may just be thinking, I'm going to hang tough and try to stay here close to Green as LePage goes by him as well. So give Kevin LePage 6th position. 41 to go at Rockingham. Mark Martin is still your leader. We'll be back after this. 34 laps remaining at Rockingham this afternoon, the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series. We've got a battle for the lead out of turn 4. Dale Jarrett to the low side.
Dale he needs to make this move, and does make the move by Mark Martin. Now Mark Martin does not let that bother him, and now he'll follow him a couple of laps, let his tires cool back down, and make another run at Dale Jarrett.
Maybe not even a couple of laps there as they move right up on the Elton Sawyer machine down into turn 3. Everybody's standing here at the Rock this afternoon. Dale Jarrett uses the 38 cars a little bit of a pick to open up a couple of car lanes.
Now you see why Mark Martin likes to ride out front. His car maybe is a little loose in traffic or with cars around him, because that 38 car is what really caused that whole pass. 38's trying to keep him going a lap down, but Mark doesn't seem to handle real well with cars around him.
So we've had a lead change, first one in quite a while. Mark Martin dropped back to second. Dale Jarrett, the outside pole sitter, is your new leader. Let's go to pit road.
Well, this is Randy Pemberton, and I'm down here in the 60 pit. Kind of looked at Steve Meal, then I looked at Mark's crew chief, Bobby Leslie. I said, is he all right? Is he saying anything? Man, these guys are calm, cool, collected. He said Mark has said absolutely nothing about the car, so he may very well be just kind of cooling his tires, wait until later in the race to put the hammer down for good. But one observation, I talked to Bobby Leslie prior to this race. This car of Mark Martin's has run 12 events. It has won 6. Now that's pretty amazing. The other times it's probably finished in the top 10. Darrell, what about getting a favorite car like that? I know Mark has had several. Buddy, you probably as well. Darrell, did you ever get a car that you just love and you want to bring it everywhere?
Yeah, I had 2 cars that way. One was called Bertha and the other one was called Betty.
Darrell, go get that car.
I need it bad, don't I? I ain't had one lately, that's for sure.
Mark Martin had led 60. More than that. He led 109 laps today in the 60 car, and he's the season leader in laps led in the Busch Series, too. As we watch the cars work down into turn 3, a little deeper in the pack here, we take a look at the Mark Green car. Kevin LePage is coming along nicely as well. So Jason Keller in that mix of automobiles, and the 92 car, Joe Bessie there as well.
All right, if Mark Martin's as smart as I say he is, and if he's as smart as he appears to be, and if he's as sharp as we think he is, then he's just checking out the competition, right?
If you say so. That's why you're the expert analyst up here.
Buddy.
I don't believe anybody ever just checks out the competition. I think that what we saw was just a lot of traffic, maybe a move that didn't work out. But right now, I'm watching Mark Martin. He is really, really running well. And I think it's just a matter of time. You see his car right there. Watch it as he starts down the front straightaway. He'll take a little peek over. He's really not pushing the car that hard right now. I think Mark has the faster car than Dale Jarrett, but I would rather be in the lead than run a second.
Yeah, but you got to go 100 laps almost. No, we got to go 80 laps on these tires, and so, you know, I think he's just saving the tires. Let's see, what? It's 170 laps. We've got 30 to go. Is that correct?
That's right. We've got actually 27 to go at this point. 28 to go according to our Napa field summary up top. As Dale Jarrett is your leader. Mark Martin right there. Glenn Jarrett, how does it look from pit road?
I got to go along with Buddy and Dale to an extent. I think that Martin is just sizing him up right now. He let Dale go by when Dale caught him in traffic and made the move that Buddy said. But Martin's been watching him every lap. He hasn't lost a single inch of ground to him since Dale passed him. And I think he's just waiting, biding his time to make the move at the right time. He wants to see where Dale's running, where he's strong, and if he gets back by him, where he needs to hold him off.
Is it easier to run second here at this point?
Well, it's not easier, but you got to do it so you'll know what the competition can do. You don't want to sit there and let him sack you on the last lap like he did in that traffic. So you want to be able to do that to him. And if you got a better car, you can.
You have to remember they're running 165 to 170 mile an hour down the straightaway, so you do have a draft here. So running second, you can actually pull up on a car pretty easily about the flag stand here. You see Mark looking to the inside there, does not have the horsepower just to pull out and go by Dale, though.
Dale Jarrett in his 16th Busch Series start. He has yet to win one of these races, although he's had a terrific Winston Cup here. This might be the day. We'll find out when we come back after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by Pep Boys. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price. Tires and service too. Everything but gas. And by Peerless Faucet. Get more out of your faucet than just water.
We've ordered up a picture-perfect afternoon for stock car racing here at North Carolina Motor Speedway. On TNN Motorsports, our Duralube aerial camera giving you a look at the again growing North Carolina Motor Speedway. The Rock, as it's now called, with a brand new press box, more new grandstands. The battle up front remains joined between Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin with less than 20 to go.
Yeah, did you see Jarrett?
Look at this. Excuse me, guys, but a pass for the lead there. Mark Martin went down on the inside, side by side with Dale Jarrett down in turn one.
And he's got Biffle there.
Mark couldn't make it.
What happened was Jarrett, he about lost that thing off of 4 here, buddy. The thing hopped around on him, and Mark just drove right up under him. Now Mark sees his weakness, and he's closing in. The hunter and the hunted.
Mark willing to back out there with less than 20 laps remaining. He's got plenty of time, certainly. The 51, Greg Biffle and Jim Bound's car today acted as a pick there. That gave Jarrett the opportunity to go back around on the outside and recapture the lead before another lap around the board. 181 complete. We've got 16 remaining at the Rock this afternoon. And this sets up quite a battle tomorrow, too, in our coverage, of course, of the AC-Delco 400 for the Winston Cup Series. Live at 12:30, immediately following race day on TNN tomorrow. So that'll be a dandy. Hope you can join us here tomorrow afternoon. Leaders continue to be Jarrett in the 32. Martin in the 60 car. Ricky Craven is back in third spot, a ways back, not in our picture as yet. Craven has done a nice job this afternoon, but hasn't been able to get up and make a three-way battle out of this with 16 laps remaining here today. Leaders are up on the back straightaway. When do you think Martin will make his move? Will he wait till there's a couple left?
I think he's going to do it right now.
I'm going to make an observation. I think he's making a move right now.
I think he's going to do it right
now. He is now pulling up.
There he goes.
Steven down the front straightaway. He has an angle on Jarrett as they go into one. He gives way, and there you have it. Pass for the lead.
Martin is back out in front of his Winn-Dixie Ford. Dale Jarrett sticking right with him. Again, we see that Dale is able to take a lower line through that turn.
Well, Dale's a little better in 1 and 2, but Mark is awesome in 3 and 4. When he hooks that thing down on that white line, he just shoots through that corner. Now, he's not good when he gets up off the turn like that, but he's good around the bottom.
Lap cars again a factor here at Rockingham this afternoon. We've only had 2 yellow flag periods. Last one was 70 laps ago, so we've got a long green flag run, and this is a battle for position 2. Jeff Green in the 3 is in 8th spot. Randy LaJoie, the series point leader, is 9th. David Green, his nemesis for the season championship, is up in 5th, so Green stands to gain some ground on LaJoie here in the next to last race of the season.
You know, Randy LaJoie, you were talking earlier, Darrell, about having that loose condition. You see him wiggling really bad there coming out of turn 2. That wall on the back straightaway will get you. And Randy LaJoie is trying to survive now, not make position. He's went from 2nd place all the way to 9th. That's how far back he's dropped from his loose condition.
good afternoon for Jeff Green in the 3 car. He's gained 4 spots from where he started here today, running along in 8th position right now. The lead continues to be in the hands of the 32 car and the 60 car. The battle up front. Mark Martin back out in front for the now, at this point anyway, with a dozen laps to go, and that's how things would stack up point-wise if the race were to end at this point, where David Green gaining 17 points, came into today 50 markers behind. It would be a 33-point advantage as we watch the leaders sift through lap traffic down into 3.
That was a great move. Those 2 cars, the 72 and the 19, were holding them up big time, and Mark split them down the back. What a great move.
Dale Jarrett now about 8 or 9 car lengths back as they run through the D-shaped front straightaway here at Rockingham down into turn 1. Jarrett in the 32, Martin in the 60. They got 10 to go, or will get 10 to go next time around as we take a look at scoring. Mark Martin up onto the backstretch. 187, so 10 to go at this point.
Look where we're at right now. You see Mark is able to pull away just a little bit in traffic. Dale Jarrett seems to be able to run back up and make this a good race. Right now, it's Mark Martin's race to give way. All he has to do is make one mistake, and Dale Jarrett will get by him, though.
Yeah, and they're starting to get past a lot of that heavy lap traffic. Got a lot of clear track ahead of them, so I think the race is pretty well in Mark's hand.
Martin has got probably 25 car lengths of clear track in front of him right now. Nice and smooth. Best lap of the race, 147.4, knocked off the last one at 141 and change. So that car doing very well, I would say, with lap traffic to work around.
Yeah, it's one thing you do here. You lose a lot of time on the tires. Once the tires go away, you really give up a couple of seconds a lap, and that's a lot.
Mark Martin, I think, has turned in an amazing Busch Series campaign. He's won 5 races, as many as Randy LaJoie, and he's only made a dozen starts coming into today. So he's almost batting 500 in this.
Well, it just shows what, he's well prepared when he shows up. I mean, that's the thing. He doesn't run every week, so his equipment's always in tip-top shape, and he's a great driver.
Well, you see Mark Martin right now, and just in front of him, a guy he made contact with not long ago, Dick Trickle, just in front of him. So they don't really have exactly open track all the way to the checkered flag. So this race could really change in one corner here. So it's not over.
I think the Trickle will give him a little more respect this time. I think he's an old veteran. He's going to remember, I got to get out of this kid's way.
Battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th through Jeff Green in the 3 runs 8th. Randy LaJoie in the 74 is 9th. Mark Green in the 37 is in 10th spot at this point. Actually, he's a little further back than that. So he's a lap or 2 down, but they're running together on the Speedway. And LaJoie wanted to make a run at Jeff Green. Can't do it.
You could see the car. He turned it down and the back end broke loose, and Randy had to chase it all the way up the racetrack. How would you like to have 2 brothers putting you further back in the points right now? David Green, of course, right now trying to close in on Randy LaJoie and doing a pretty good job of it today.
Yeah, David's had a good day, and he's done exactly what he needed to do. I'm pretty proud of David today. He drove a real hard race, and he's been aggressive. That's what you got to do when you're behind.
5 laps remaining this afternoon at Rockingham in the AC-Delco 200 as Mark Green drops down low. He's back in 21st spot, a lap down to the leaders. LaJoie and Jeff Green, meantime, still going at it. Jeff Green lets Mark go around him that time, so Jeff Green trying to hang on to 8th position. A lot of point money at stake for all of these drivers. Jeff Green up in the top 5 in season standings as well, with 4 laps remaining here at Rockingham this afternoon. A reminder, tomorrow, race day noon at 10 o'clock Eastern time. All the NASCAR Winston Cup and Busch Series news, plus everything else from the world of motorsports. I'll be back in our Charlotte studios tomorrow. Our coverage of the AC-Delco 400 at 12:30 Eastern time tomorrow, right here live on TNN Motorsports.
I'm just watching LaJoie. He's fighting this car really, really hard. He is trying to make up a few points here. And I don't think Jeff Green's car is exactly perfect, but I am noticing one thing back up front. I noticed that Dale Jarrett has moved up again on Mark Martin.
Yeah, Mark caught Patty Moise there in lap where she was lapping her, and it hurt him a little bit. But I don't know, time's running out. But
coming up on 2 laps to go for the leaders as they head out of turn 4 and come down toward the stripe. Move down the main straightaway into turn 1. Martin with about 3 car lengths now over Dale Jarrett as they get the 2 to go side. White flag to wave next trip around here. This 1.017 mile high banked oval in Rockingham, North Carolina. Dale Jarrett trying to track in there.
Excuse me, everybody. Randy LaJoie did everything but wreck just in coming off turn 4. He had the wheel turned all the way to the right, and the back end was coming around. Sorry to scare everybody. I know you couldn't see it on the screen, but I thought we were going to have a replay on that one. He did a great job of holding on.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars loose right now. Of course, they're in that window where the tires go away.
White flag waving over leader Mark Martin a moment ago. Down into turn 3 for the final time this afternoon. Dale Jarrett will take a run at him here through 3 and 4 in the Band-Aid car. Jarrett looks to the high side. He will not have enough. He'll swing down low, but it'll be Mark Martin for the 6th time in 1996 in the Winn-Dixie Ford. Mark Martin, your winner this afternoon. Started 5th today, his 26th career Busch Series win, 6th of the year in just 13 starts, and a great run today from Mark Martin. And Dale Jarrett gets 2nd as we watch point contender David Green come home in 5th, right behind Mike McLaughlin. He gains a couple of positions on Randy LaJoie today, picked up 17 or 18 points today, as a matter of fact. Mark Martin, the winner of the AC-Delco 200. And a great run for Martin. He led the most laps again today. A typically dominant Mark Martin performance, I guess you'd say.
I'm going to go practice.
Are you?
This looked like so much fun. I'm going to go practice.
All right. Thanks for being with us, Darrell Waltrip, and good luck tomorrow. You'll start 24th at the Western Auto Parts America Chevrolet. Buddy Baker and I will be back to wrap things up. We'll talk to the winner in Victory Lane when we come back after this. Welcome back live to The Rock. The AC-Delco 200 complete here this afternoon for the NASCAR Busch Series. And in Victory Lane for the 6th time of the season and only 13 starts, Mark Martin. Here's Glenn Jarrett.
Well, it is an amazing record that Mark Martin has. It seems like about the 98th time that I'll talk to you in Victory Lane here in the Busch Grand National race. What a great race car.
Well, it just barely was enough today. I didn't think I could beat him, but I let him go there and cool my tires a little bit. And I wasn't really ready to go when I went, but I had a chance to go, and I was afraid it would get harder the closer it got to the end. So I stood on it, got out front, and then he started coming back the last 5 laps, and I thought, you know, he's dropped back to cool down. It was really a hard-fought battle, and it's nice to win one when you have to race like that.
Well, Mark, racing like that, it almost looked like in traffic between you and Dale Jarrett that the car that was running second seemed to be the stronger car at that time.
Yeah, you know, the car behind would take the wind off the car in front, and it just made the car in front loose, and my car was terrible loose. I had to let him go there for a while. Then when I got out in front of him, I tried to get far enough away from him that he wouldn't make me loose, and part of the time I was out far enough, and part of the time I wasn't, so it was a struggle.
Now, what an amazing race car this is. We've got statistics, or we've got information telling us that you've won 7 out of 13 starts in this race car.
It's an awesome car, and I don't know why. I mean, it's just plain old vanilla.
Well, he sure poured the chocolate on the rest of the field today, I'm telling you. He's got a mat with him. They're going to celebrate in Victory Lane here. Let's go on up pit road.
All right, we'll talk to Randy Pemberton in just a moment. Let's take a look at your top 10. Martin, the winner over Jarrett. Ricky Craven with a nice run to 3rd. Mike McLaughlin still winless on the year, but a good 4th today. And David Green 2nd in the points. Gained some ground with that 5th. Randy LaJoie comes home 9th. That shrinks the point lead to 33 markers now, heading to Homestead the first weekend in November. Terry Labonte comes back for a nice 6th. Todd Bodine, who had that good run, had passed 30 cars to come to 6th. He gets no further than 11th at the checkered flag. And Derek Cope, who had some problems early, nice run for Cope today to come home in 12th. Sawyer in 14th. Mike Dillon, Dick Trickle, who started shotgun on the field, comes home 16th. And the rest of the field looking like this afternoon. The next to last, the 25th Busch Series event of 1996. 1 to go for these drivers. It'll be at Homestead the first weekend in November. Darrell Lanigan, Jeff Purvis, many of these cars caught up in that first wreck off of turn 4 on the 4th lap. That was quite a hard hit indeed. Mike Wallace and Ron Barfield among those drivers who went no further than 4 laps today. Maybe one of the most amazing Mark Martin statistics we've seen at this point. It's his 6th win here at Rockingham in his last 9 starts. That's 2/3 of the races run here in the last 4.5 years.
Well,
in the Busch Series.
Here and Darlington, this car and this driver combination, and you know, Mark Martin is the type of guy that has the patience. Anybody back home that wants to know how to drive a race car could watch this guy from the green flag to the checker, and you'd learn a lot because he does the right things at the right time and keeps out of trouble.
Now let's tell you what we're going to do here this afternoon at the Rock on TNN Motorsports. We're not going away for a while yet. The NASCAR Winston Cup cars will be coming out for their final practice, the happy hour of practice. We'll show you some of that action and take a look at the Busch Series points and more when we return after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. And by Nicotrol. 6 weeks, 1 step. Take control with Nicotrol.
And our Duralube aerial camera working beautifully today on what has been a terrific afternoon for racing. Windy and cool when we started. It has warmed up quite a bit, and a lot of these fans, almost a full house here today for this Busch Series event, sticking around to see happy hour practice. Let's go back to pit road, talk to the driver who finished second today, Randy Pemberton.
Well, the Winston Cup guys getting ready to jump in their cars for happy hour. Dale Jarrett's made the trek from the back stretch over to the front stretch. Heck of a race for you. Didn't really have anything for Mark, although it looked like you did there for a little while.
Yeah, I thought I might. I could beat him in 1 and 2, but he was better than me in 3 and 4, and that's where you really carry the most speed. I was a little too loose. Got a lot of paper and stuff on the grill, and I think that just made more downforce on my front end that I didn't need at the time. So good run for us, just not quite enough for Mark.
DJ, you're in the points battle. You stuck the Ford Quality Care Ford on the front row, on the pole. What about it? You're going out for happy hour. What do you look for in this next practice session?
Well, we had a good run this morning, a nice long run. The car stayed good. We made a few changes here just to see if it's any better. I'm pretty excited about tomorrow. I think we got a car to beat.
Okay, DJ getting in the car here in a few moments. Happy hour getting ready to start. Rick Benjamin?
He will go to the pole tomorrow with a new motor in that car. They blew an engine in that thing this morning, so they've been thrashing hard. That's one reason why Larry McReynolds didn't join us on our broadcast this afternoon.
It was the motor that he sat on the pole with, and he said it was very, very lucky that he lost the motor down the straightaway instead of maybe as he picked up the throttle in the middle of the corner, because something broke in the motor. Very lucky to not back the car into the wall or have any problems from the engine blowing up.
Now, we thought coming into this weekend at Rockingham that most of the team moves had been completed. There are still a few drivers not settled for next year and a couple of cars that don't have drivers signed for next season. But a shocker late yesterday and early this morning, Tony Glover is out as crew chief of the Morgan McClure Chevrolet, the Sterling Marlin car that's had so much success over the years, especially at the big speedways. Let's get more on that. Let's go back to the garage area.
Well, you're exactly right, Rick. Tony Glover is out, and Runt Pittman, the engine builder, is in as the crew chief. I've got team owner Larry McClure standing by me. And Larry, tell us about the events that led to Tony's leaving this morning.
Well, Tony told me Monday that he was going to go with another team next year. Didn't say who it was, what was going on, and we discussed it, and he said he'd like to stay through the end of the year. Well, we had a team meeting last evening and made a decision that it might be better if we let Tony go on and do his thing and let this team have these next 3 races this year to sort things out and see where we were. It was amicable. Tony had been with me for 13 years. Love him to death. But he made a career choice, and we hope the best for him.
Is there any discussion yet? Have you made? I know you told me that Sheldon or Runt Pittman was going to serve as crew chief through at least the season's end. Have you had enough time to think about who you're going to put in that position yet?
Not really. I mean, we haven't made that choice yet. We're going to see how things go. We got some people in-house here that pretty sharp, that's worked with Tony for a long time, and we just have to see how things go. I mean, there's a list of people that we could look at, but I really wouldn't want to discuss that now without talking to them first, and we may decide to leave it like it is. Whatever is best for the race team, that's what we want to do.
You can be certain that those words are spoken from the heart of Larry McClure. They're a little bit upset about things, but they're handling it well. He doesn't think that it's going to affect things too much in tomorrow's race, Rick.
Unbelievable development, really, because that team has had so much success, winning at Daytona and many other racetracks.
Rick, I can add to that just a little bit. Runt Pittman was the crew chief for Sterling Marlin back in the days of Hoss Ellington, so they have some experience working together. I think he'll go right along. Of course, Tony Glover is so talented. I know the team hates to lose him.
But with Runt Pittman responsible for their engines for so long, you'd think that might put their engine program a little behind, perhaps.
I think Runt knows what he's doing. I mean, he's been in racing for a very long time. He knows the engine program very well. He can oversee that and still do the job he's doing right now for Sterling, I think.
Well, we'll see how it plays out starting tomorrow. Runt Pittman will be calling the shots on pit road tomorrow for the 4-car. Sterling Marlin will start 28th. Winston Cup cars coming out for happy hour practice. We'll show you some of that and return to the Rock in just a moment. We are back live at Rockingham. The afternoon's Busch Grand National event complete. Mark Martin takes home the victory today, the AC-Delco 200. We've got an innovation in motion to show you here this afternoon. It's brought to you by Peerless Faucet. Get more out of your faucet than just water. Here's Randy Pemberton.
On our last Busch Grand National telecast from Dover, Delaware, crew chief / pit road reporter Larry McReynolds pointed out a very unique tool that is used in the pits by many Winston Cup and Busch Series teams. This is the tool, a common ordinary baseball bat. What it was used for is to help pull away sheet metal that's crumpled in onto tires after a car is wrecked. Well, that tool has been taken one step further. This is called the Roush Racing Roller, and it's utilized in the same fashion. A guy has manufactured this, and when some sheet metal gets crumpled in on a tire, you can just simply place it over the tire, and as the car rolls back and forth on pit road, this roller rolls, helps to pull the sheet metal back away from the tire. One thing is for sure, you'll see a lot of this being used this weekend here at Rockingham.
I think we probably saw that put to some use earlier this afternoon, Buddy Baker.
Boy, I tell you what, that's a marvelous invention. I could have used that quite a few times in my racing career, believe me.
Well, when we started talking about the baseball bat back at Dover, I wasn't sure what Larry was getting at first there. I've been to some short tracks where that might have a completely different definition and usage. But in any case, the Winston Cup cars lined up on pit road here at the Rock today to get ready to go. The final hour of practice for these drivers. Tomorrow ought to be a terrifically interesting AC-Delco 400 that'll be seen live here on TNN, 12:30 Eastern time tomorrow. You got Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd on the lead road. Talk about a guy who needs a victory. There's Ricky Rudd.
Ricky Rudd and Mark Martin. At this time of the year, anybody in racing would have bet $1 million that he would have won already. I think Mark Martin's primed for a victory here. I think there's a bunch of race teams that right now have the race cars, the drivers to win, and all they need is some good luck tomorrow. And you know the good part of happy hour today, this is what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. Now when they qualified and all, it was much hotter here. But we do have a cool condition here in Rockingham, so this is a very, very important practice coming up. This happy hour is not going to be happy. A lot of people are going to be throwing springs and doing a lot of adjustments.
Well, we're completing now the next to last race of the 1996 season for the Busch Series cars and drivers. Here's how the points stack up with one race remaining. Randy LaJoie remains the point leader, but David Green only 33 behind. Now, David Green has won twice. LaJoie's won 5. Randy's led more races 2, but he's failed to finish twice. And to win that championship, as we've talked about so many times, buddy, you've got to keep the car on the racetrack.
You know, this is good, though. That proves that the point system is right on. Right now, it really favors a guy that's more consistent. Randy LaJoie, right now, with the race team he's with, they're just really good right now. I think Randy has an inside edge going into the last race, but David Green is so consistent. Man, I wouldn't pick anybody right now between the two of them.
It'll be a terrific battle at Homestead, no doubt, the first weekend of November, just a couple of weeks away. Let's get the thoughts of the Busch Series point leader now. He's standing by with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, thanks. I've caught up with Randy LaJoie here. You look like you stepped out of GQ, not out of a race car. The lead has dwindled to 33 now, but considering things today with a loose race car, it's not so bad.
Really not. I guess it's, 33 points is better than 32 points. We were just a little bit too loose today. I worked me up a sweat today. It's too bad. We had a good car. Just didn't get a chance. We could show it early on in the runs, but just got a little too loose for us. About wrecked with 2 to go, and it wasn't because I wasn't trying. I tried my hardest, and it's hard to ride with a loose race car.
What do you got to do now going into Homestead? You got a couple of weeks to think about it. You got one more race to go, 33 points. How are you going to run that race, Randy?
We just need to beat that 95 car. We didn't do it today, but we just got to keep him in our sights. If he's ahead of us, we got to make sure he's not ahead of us by many. So, I think we were good. We tested well down there, and I'm looking forward to going down there. And I'll get the belts real tight, and we'll be okay.
Best of luck to you. Now let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, David Green has come from his transporter. A smile on your face. You chipped it down to 33. Probably like to have come out here with the lead, but it didn't happen for you. But a pretty good run. Finished 5th today.
That's right, Randy. I knew, all I wanted to do was walk out of Rockingham here, just finishing ahead of that 74 car. So we did about 3 or 4 spots, had a great run. And, I feel pretty good. So being just about 95% back, ready to race, I feel good on this run. We've got 2 weeks now to even get it better. And like I said, all I could ask for is to come out here finishing ahead of it. Now, we'll just see what happens when we go to Homestead, but I feel good. The car did a great job again today.
We wouldn't expect any contact or anything like that between you guys coming down with 33 points to go, would we?
Well, not right now, at least. But no, seriously, Randy and I have raced hard all year. I think he's gave me 1 black mark. I gave him 1. And today, he gave me a little bit of room, not a whole lot. But that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's the way it will end up, I promise you, because we're going to go down as 2 champions. unfortunate things. One's going to be the champion, one will be second best. So, but that's the way I'm going to do it. Now, I don't know about him, but that's the way I'm going to do it.
Okay, that's David Green. One race to go. He hopes to close in on him with that one in Homestead.
And if today's event is any indication of how that will go, Green will be very aggressive. We noted how aggressive he was today, beating LaJoie in their private battle, although he didn't win the race. 33 points, the lead now for LaJoie with one race left. Jeff Green third, Todd Bodine and Chad Little very, very close there. Jeff Purvis and Jason Keller also very tight, as is Mike McLaughlin and Curtis Markham. So there are a lot of point shifts that could take place after Homestead, and a lot of money on the line for these NASCAR Busch Grand National Series drivers. We've got more stories to tell you from Rockingham. We'll be right back after this. Back live at Rockingham on TNN Motorsports. Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, Darrell Waltrip was earlier with us as well. Randy Pemberton and Glenn Jarrett on pit road. And this is something brand new from TNN Motorsports. It's called the Hardcore 4x4 game. It's coming to the Sony PlayStation and Sega Saturn this fall. You can choose your truck, your transmission, and your racetrack. 6 different tracks. During the race, you can even change camera views, just like the crew at TNN Motorsports. We've got one set up here today. Randy Pemberton got a chance to try the foot pedals and the steering wheel earlier. What do you think, Randy? You ready to challenge Robbie Gordon off-road?
Not a chance. I'll tell you what, you can push some buttons and have different viewpoints of where you're driving from. You can actually be in the cockpit, or you can watch the truck itself, and it is absolutely fascinating. I had a great time doing it, and it really gets your heart pumping. So it's just like being really inside the truck. But no, Robbie Gordon, I would never want to challenge him. But you have got to get one of these things. I'm going to get it, no question about it. It was an absolute blast. Unfortunately, I had to put it down and come down and do pit road. But I'm going to try it out again a little bit later on the TNN suite.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah.
Now that you have a little bit of experience, you and me, bud, right after the race.
You and me, we're going at it.
All right.
Okay.
Well, my son Kyle got a chance to try it earlier today, too. He gives it 2 thumbs up, so that's high praise from an 11-year-old indeed. Glenn Jarrett also on pit road for us today. He didn't get a chance to try the pedals in the wheel yet, but he may get a chance to do that before the season is over as well. Let's go back down to pit road. Glenn Jarrett standing by with Jeff Green, I believe.
Rick, they don't let me play with anything because I have a tendency to tear stuff up real fast. Jeff Green, a pretty decent run today. Not the best, but also not the worst. But I have to ask you, you've only got one more race left in the Dale Earnhardt car. Any bad thoughts? I mean, not bad thoughts, but sad thoughts about that?
Well, Glenn, if we can go down there and win that race, I feel like we've done our job. But if we, I failed to win a race for him, and I want to do that real bad. We've saved us, I guess, a special car for down there. We could have run it here, saved it to go to Homestead. So I think we'll be pretty potent down there. Hopefully the Goodwrench Service Chevrolet will run as good as always, I'm sure. Had an awful good run down there last year. Got involved in an accident. I'm not going to let that happen again, I hope. But it's a good day for us. Kind of camboed up today, so I hope I could sneak up on those guys, but it didn't work too good. So.
What about next year? Tell us a little about your deal. I know you're excited about it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Gary Bechtel has hired me to drive his Busch car, and can't say on a sponsor yet. They haven't decided what they're going to do there yet. They've got a lot of options, and but we're looking forward to it. Got a lot of good people. Wes Ward from your brother stable over there is going to be my crew chief. Looking forward to that. He's a hard worker, and feel like we'll really work good together. B&R Motors, I can't say enough for them yet, so we're looking forward to next year. But we got one more race with the Goodwrench people. Tony and these guys, they worked their tail off for me. Hopefully we can repay them with a win down there at Homestead.
What's with the beard here? Are we sporting a new look?
Well, I don't know. I like to deer hunt a little bit, and it saves on camo makeup when you put a beard on. So I'm looking forward to getting done with the season and going doing that in Kentucky.
Okay, let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, we didn't talk a lot about Mike McLaughlin today, but he brought his Royal Oak Chevy home in the 5th spot. Mike, heck of a run for you. And looking at the points going into this race, you picked up 4th, I guess you were today. You picked up some points, too.
It was a good day for us. Moved up in the points. And anytime you get a top 5 finish, we're happy. We're all here to win. But tried winning for today. A good friend of ours, Marie Brewer's mom, passed away. And we really wanted to put her in victory lane to let her know we're thinking of her. But maybe Miami.
What about a team such as yours? Last year you had a good, strong points run. You come through this year, have some DNFs. Where does that set you in the stage for 1997? Because I know you're already looking forward ahead.
We look at one race at a time. Try to prepare the best you can to go out and win each race. And when it doesn't happen, that's when the team really has to come together to be as one. I mean, it's just a team effort. And we've got that. We didn't show it this year, but we've got a lot of depth. Everybody's motivated, and I think we can finish off the season in good shape like we did today and start next season where we hope to start this season.
A lot of fans, a lot of people in the press picked this guy to challenge for the championship in 1996. I suspect a lot of people will pick him to challenge in 1997 as well. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Mike McLaughlin with his third consecutive Busch Series finish in the top 6, the pride of Waterloo, New York. Many more stories to update you on here. We're at the Rock Live happy hour practice ahead of tomorrow's AC-Delco 400. We're back live at North Carolina Motor Speedway in Rockingham on TNN. Rick Benjamin, Buddy Baker, Darrell Waltrip, Glenn Jarrett, and Randy Pemberton all here for you. Busch Series event is over. Winston Cup cars in happy hour. Time for our AutoZone Tech Fact, brought to you by the more than 1,450 AutoZone stores.
You know, one of the biggest enemies that any NASCAR race driver faces is heat. That's tire heat, engine heat, heat in the cockpit, any kind of heat. That slows the car down. Well, you know, they have found a way to help the engine temperature run a little cooler in the oil. That is with the heat exchanger. Now, we used to see an oil cooler up here. Now they use what's known as a heat exchanger, which is actually buried inside the radiator here. Okay, the water running through the radiator helps to cool the oil running through that heat exchanger. Now, instead of just having air in the old traditional oil cooler, which was mounted right in here to cool it down, now they have the water and the air running through the radiator to help cool that thing. Also, it helps eliminate the possibility of getting the oil cooler knocked off in an accident on the racetrack.
Our AutoZone Tech Fact brought to you by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Kevin LePage turned in a nice run this afternoon in the AC-Delco 200 for the NASCAR Busch Series. Let's go back to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, he certainly did, Rick. He finished 7th. That's his best Rockingham finish ever. But, boy, the way the race started, I thought you were going to run away with this thing.
Well, I'll tell you, the Fireman's Choice Chevrolet was really running good there at the beginning. And, C.R. Miller, David Rilland, and all the guys, they just every week they put a car underneath me. And we're just excited for next year. We're going to have a 2-car deal. Right now, my new deal will be announcing hopefully at Homestead. Dennis Setzer will be in the 88 car. We're just looking forward to next year. Right now, we're going to be in a championship hunt next year, I believe, because we're just consistent, finishing in the top 10, top 5 every week.
Well, I think he's exactly right, Rick. All this guy has needed was a competitive car. He'll run number 86 for Ridley next year. The reason they're doing that, he's going to run some Winston Cup races, and the number 86 was available in Winston Cup also. Good luck next week or 2 weeks at Homestead.
Thank you very much, Glenn.
Very impressive run for LePage. Led several laps early in the going here. He's a driver who may well be in victory lane come 1997. More stories to bring you from Rockingham. We are right back after this. Back live at Rockingham, and coming up right after our coverage, stay tuned for Motor Trend Television, followed by Inside NASCAR. That's coming up next on TNN Motorsports, so don't go away. Now, tonight at 6 Eastern Time, highlights from Farm Aid last weekend. Join Willie Nelson, Martina McBride, the Beach Boys, and many others. 6 full hours of music and excitement. That's the whole thing right here on TNN, the Nashville Network, tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And a reminder that Opryland is the official destination of NASCAR. More information on Opryland USA, give them a call. 615 is the area code, 889-6611 weekdays. And there's some great packages available, hotel space at the Opryland Hotel, and much, much more. Now, we are not done with motorsports this season, not by a long shot. Here's what's up on TNN Live next weekend. The NHRA Budweiser Top Fuel Classic. Winston World Finals are next weekend at Pomona for the NHRA, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. The Bud Top Fuel Classic. You'll see it live with Ralph Shaheen, Steve Evans, and the group, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Race Talk with Eli Gold is live at 10 o'clock Eastern next Saturday, October 26th. And then Sunday, NHRA Today at 1 Eastern. Our coverage of the Durloop 500 live Winston Cup racing from Phoenix, Arizona, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. The NHRA Winston World Finals live at 7:30 Eastern next Sunday night. Of course, race day at noon and 10 o'clock Eastern next Sunday with all the motorsports news, NASCAR, NHRA, and a whole lot more. Winston Cup cars in happy hour practice. We'll come back to Rockingham with more in a moment.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN has been brought to you by Texaco Clean System 3 Gasolines. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. And by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right.
Windy afternoon here at the Rock, North Carolina Motor Speedway in Rockingham. We're going to show you the final order of finish today from the AC-Delco 200. Mark Martin wins his 6th NASCAR Busch Grand National event of the season. Dale Jarrett comes home second. Ricky Craven, a Winston Cup driver sweep in the top 3 spots. The rest of your top 10, that point race. David Green 5th, Randy LaJoie 9th today. A 33-point margin for LaJoie with 1 race to go at Homestead. Todd Bodine with a nice 11th. Jeff Fuller soldiers on to 20th here this afternoon. And we'll show you the balance of the 42-car running order as well. Mark Green in 21st today. Greg Biffle, who touched off that early wreck on 4 laps in when he got bumped coming off of turn 4, came back into the race, only missed a lap and comes home 23rd. And Jim Bound's machine, Hermie Sadler, with problems, as with Tommy Houston, caught up in that first wreck, and they go out very early. Buckshot Jones, the pole sitter, brought out the only other caution of the day at lap 111 when he pounded the second turn wall pretty hard and had to be taken to one of the local care centers for a look-see. We're told that his nose might have been injured there, must have taken a hard lick because he hit both walls. He went up and hit the outside wall, and the car came back across the track and hit the inside wall as well. Final practice for these Winston Cup cars and drivers in advance of our coverage tomorrow of the AC-Delco 400. You'll see it live here on TNN Motorsports at 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow afternoon. And Bobby Labonte is the quickest car at this point in happy hour practice. He's knocked off a lap of 152.6 as we watch Dale Earnhardt, who badly needs a win, and they think they're going to be right for tomorrow. Now, a full day of motorsports ahead tomorrow here on TNN. 11:30 Eastern Time, the North Carolina Motor Speedway Remington Sporting Clays Benefit Tournament. Eli Gold will host that. I'll be on the air live with you at noon Eastern tomorrow. Race day. We'll have all the highlights from the Busch Series event, and we'll preview the Winston Cup round here tomorrow. The AC-Delco 400 plus all the other motorsports news of the day. We'll be back at 10 tomorrow night to wrap up your day. At 12:30, our coverage of the AC-Delco 400 live Winston Cup racing on TNN Motorsports. Hope you can join us all day long tomorrow. We've got a bunch of it for you. Hope to see you tomorrow on race day at noon and 10 Eastern. Thanks for watching us from The Rock this afternoon. For Glenn Jarrett and Randy Pemberton on pit road, for Darrell Waltrip and Buddy Baker, I'm Rick Benjamin. We'll talk to you tomorrow from Charlotte. Eli will be here tomorrow afternoon to bring you the Winston Cup excitement from The Rock. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.